Tonight on 8.5-bit, Sea of Thieves. Nah, I screwed it up. You do it.
Okay. Tonight on 8.5-bit, we go sailing on the sea, we jump around a lot, and we climb up some big things and kill them. Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 236 of 8.5-bit, which I'm sure is going to be
The most all hands on deck episode of them all.
That'll do. I got nothing.
Actually, I mean, Amy's not here, so it's one of the,
actually,
the lesser
there's
all
less.
hands on deck.
It's more than when I do a solo show.
Yeah.
But that's but those are just for me.
The idea that you just have this catalogue of just Paul episodes.
Well, now that we do every 2 weeks, what do you think I do with the weeks in between? I got at least one spare night a week.
I assume band, but it could just as well be...
Band's one night a week. And the other nights a week, I just sit here entertaining myself with my witty remarks. Oh, that's right. So before the show, I was saying that I have an inside joke that I play inside my head regularly about the greatest trick the devil ever played.
Yes.
So there's two. There's two that I play in my head. I'm sorry, the first one, podcast listeners, which is the majority of you, is entirely visual, which is the greatest trick the devil ever played. That's what
He's a witch.
You take your thumb off. But the other one is the greatest trick the devil ever learned was how to love and be loved in return. And I play these in my head quite regularly.
I like that one. Because I really like that song.
Yeah. Plus, it's true.
Yeah.
Yes. So, good boy. Good old boy. Okay, James. I am your host, Paul, and joining me today is my good friend, James.
Hello.
And James, how are you going?
Yeah, pretty well.
That's good.
It's a good couple of weeks of video games.
It is. It's one of those things. It's sort of a dead news time. Again, the news list is very low, but our played games lists are both extremely long.
You should be proud of me that Destiny is not on that list.
I would be proud, except I forgot it existed. So, go me. I'm the real winner. Monster Hunter World's there, which is, we'll call it the good... Oh, no, because that's the alternate Destiny, like the good one. But then you've also got Warframe, which is the good Destiny.
It's the good Destiny.
No, you can't switch that quickly. You need more time to switch.
Yeah, I have put...
I've been saying that for years.
I think
I'm allowed to say that.
I think
I'm
put
bigoted.
About 20 hours into it now, and that's only 10% of the way to my Destiny 2 time.
Yes.
So I've got a long road ahead of me.
A long way before we get there. But before that, what should we talk about?
I don't know, video games.
I've been
playing. Hey, we watched
Justice League,
and it was entirely okay. So was this real disappointing?
So disappointed.
Because we were like, get everyone around, we're going to have a few drinks, have some laughs at the bad movie, and then it was okay.
It was
totally watchable.
Watchable, I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm there for Trainwreck.
Yeah.
And whilst not good, not interesting enough to be Trainwreck. Just there.
Yeah, I could watch it in a single session. I couldn't say the same for Suicide Squad. Or Man of Steel. Or Batman vs Superman. I couldn't watch any of those in a single sitting. I had to take breaks on Netflix.
Yeah, but that's because of your compromised ass.
So compromised.
Okay, yes. So that was watched. I shall we just talk about some video games? I've got a lot of video games to talk about.
Okay, we'll talk about
we can go into some other banter later. I think sometimes people start the show and go like, yeah, they're going to talk for a long time
let's
about
just
not
skip.
video games.
Yep.
Talk about some growths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So probably the game I've been having the most fun with recently and has totally surprised me is a game called Dendara.
Which I also checked out a little bit of.
Yes. So Dendara is a Brazilian game. It's a side scroller. It's pixel art. Not really comparable to much other pixel art. I mean, it's just relatively realistic rendered. And you are what I thought at first was a fictional, like a folk hero, but a real person, Dendara. And do not come to what I'm about to say here as some historical fact, but from my brief Wikipediaing and stuff. In the 1700s, she was responsible for fighting to free slaves and setting up communities of freed slaves and setting up trade between them and stuff like that. And also one of the first people involved in capoeira. So she's like a Afro fighting, Afro Brazilian, I think they say, like freedom fighter, and literal like fighter as well. So she's a very cool person, and this game might have something to do with that. I don't know.
And it plays through a very surrealist world.
Yes, it's a weird, strange world where there is no up, and there are weird gods and strange things going on, and everything is quite surrealist. I'm told from Brazilians playing it, a lot of the things that they see, they recognize, and they're like, "Oh, that's that. That's that."
No, so obviously it's that. Yeah.
So I think for people that haven't been exposed to these stories, most of it's completely impenetrable.
Yeah.
But then I really have enjoyed that in the game. Like at certain points in the game I am now, there's sort of like posters that are like video posters and everything. People, there's almost like real pictures of people, like historical figures in there. No idea, but it makes a cool atmosphere. Yeah. The main gimmick of this game is that it's a side scroller you can't move left or right in. All you can do is basically quick dash to other surfaces that
they're like white surfaces.
Yeah, they're painted with salt, basically. Yeah. And salt is your currency in the game. So all you can do is jump from one line of sight to another line of sight. You can't move along the same surface you're on. You've got to jump off it and jump back if you've got to change. And then when you're firing, because it's a projectile-based game, it's got a slight charge up time. So it takes about a second before you can fire, which means it's a very deliberate game. It means you can't just go and spam an attack, although I do spam attacks. And then, so that is its unique selling point.
Which also makes it work on mobile.
Yes, well, that was because
it's also like a $25 mobile game. Like it's a full price.
They asked for it. Yeah, because James was asking about would it work on mobile, because there are touchscreen controls which I hadn't messed with. Then I looked at it, and then he looked it up and said, "Oh yeah, it is on mobile," which surprised me. I wasn't sure how it would work. Then I went to a bunch of mobile review sites, and in fact, they love it more than the console and PC sites. And they say, can't imagine playing it with controls. It's so easy to play with touch. I tried playing the Switch with touch. It didn't work for me.
Is it kind of relative controls where you drag a little arrow?
Yeah. It was pretty good, except by that point, I think I was so far into the game, I had a certain muscle memory for the game down, so I couldn't switch. There were things that I could like cheese in the controller version that I couldn't cheese the same way with the motion. But the actual structure of the game is Dark Souls. Unapologetically, you go to campfires. That's where you level up. You kill enemies and you get salt. If you get killed, you leave a corpse behind that has the salt that you had, and you have to fight back to it. And every time you go to a campsite, all the enemies are refreshed. With the exception of, well, calling them mini bosses would be a little much. They're sort of like stationary, like heavy targets sometimes that are normally obstacles that you have to get past. Yeah. So if you clear those out, they stay.
Dark Souls has some stuff like that.
Yeah. A few other little things. But all the normal enemies around, it's that. And the game is quite directionless.
Yeah, so I played it for, I don't know, like 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And I went into it, I think you gave it to me unsure of how I was going to take it.
I wanted you to look at it, but I didn't know if you'd like it.
Yeah. And I did enjoy it more than I thought I would. I don't think enough that it's still not really my kind of thing.
No.
But one of the things I really liked in it was how, because there's no walking left or right, it's just all leaping from surface to surface, I got around real fast. In fact, when I was the first chunk I was playing it, I completely forgot you could shoot.
Oh yeah.
So I was just dodging everything, and that was still fun. Like just getting around. Like I didn't want to fight it. I had to get around it, and I was watching enemy patterns to go, cool. I can dodge, and kind of get around. The biggest problem I had is that world. I had no idea what it was, and it's big.
You got to reference that map a lot when you play the game.
Yeah.
All that said, until you start getting used to the world, which I suppose is any exploration-based game, the boss fights, I think, are fucking fabulous.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where the first boss, which I had some complaints about, but I think it's just because it's a little bit of a skill up, but I've been anticipating it. I beat it first go, but oh my God, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was like one hit from death, and it was like,
Is the boss kind of pretty surreal as well?
Yeah, the whole game's quite, what it does is all the bosses I've encountered so far, everything still uses the same gameplay mechanics, but they present them in very different ways than you've experienced in the game so far. To explain any of them directly would be sort of a bit of a spoiler, because when they hit you, Like they're not always where you expect they'll be, and they are big, and they are normally not quite multi-stage. Like they're more multi-phase than No, they're more multi-stage than multi-phase. So yeah, you fighting something, then it starts running away, and because then the level is changing, so you'll start going through quite a dynamic area, and you're still using the same mechanics you always have, but it's quite surprising and really enjoyable. Like sometimes boss fights I really dread, but no, even though especially the second one kicked my ass a few times.
Have you been picking up new skills along the way?
Oh yes, it's I'm not sure how long I've played the game overall. I don't think it's a super long game, but I find it tense. I don't actually die that much, but I'm just on like edge quite a lot. But you upskill all the time, and you level. Like the leveling is really generous. I think I'm on like level 25 or something, and each of those is like you can choose to upgrade. By the time you unlocked all the things, you either can upload your health, your health recovery items.
Like Estus flasks.
Yes. That's not the amount of Atlas flasks, well, the equivalent of, but that's how potent they are.
Oh, okay.
And same with magic. So the amount of magic you can hold, and then how effective your magic refill is. Yeah. And then to get like more Atlas flask equivalents or more magic refill equivalents, they're just in chests around the world.
Okay.
So there's lots of things to discover by exploration, and there's lots of things to upgrade to, and then there's new abilities that come in all the time. So you end up with, at this point, I've got 3-4 like extra weapons. And a bunch of like passive abilities, and I just got a bonus thing that I think I'm getting near end game-ish, and I think I could have got this thing ages ago. I sort of found it in a corner. I had an exploder and shit myself. It's a way of shielding yourself.
Oh, okay.
Because there are certain times that there are projectiles that are with this movement. It's not like a movement system where you can roll out of the way or do slight things. So if you've got a lot of erratic projectiles around you, it can be a little frustrating. Oh, God, I wish I had this before I did that last section. Okay. So here is the most frustrating area. So the thing that annoys me the most in it. So one of the things you can do, if you're on a platform that's like on rails, you can propel that along by shooting your projectile.
Okay.
But in this area, they had like floating bubbles that hurt you, and you could shoot them to burst them. But if they're in front of you, you shoot forward, which stops your momentum. So you go, it was such okay. And that's the sort of thing where if I just gone forward and I had the shield, I could go through it.
Okay.
And while I don't think you're supposed to do that you're not supposed to have the shield initially. It's like, now you go, oh, good, these areas are less annoying now. Although I made different strategies to make them kind of trivial now. Actually, that's the thing. Without spoiling other abilities, I had another ability that I repurposed it. And I'm like, oh, this actually makes the area really easy to traverse now as well. So it's actually got quite a lot of options. Yeah. And I'm at the moment now where I know there's this big scary area, and I don't even know how to get into it, but I feel like I could just start taking some risks now. There are lots of surprises, and I don't want to keep spoiling stuff on it. I guess it's a really surprising game. Really. It's one of those things, like I've been playing quite a lot of 2D side scrolls at the moment. I've been playing Celeste, Iconoclasts, and Dendara. And Dendara is the most different to what I would normally play. And it is like, that's really refreshing to me. Like now when I've got them all three together, you say, which one do you want to play, Paul? I go, Dendara. Yeah,
well, it definitely felt the most unique. Yeah. Like I haven't played a platformer like that. Yeah. I'm trying to think ever. Like I'm sure there's others out there which have a similar mechanic. But at least thematically, it's very unique.
Do we say Peggle? It's a Peggle platformer. I can't actually think of another game that I've used the same movement mechanic in. I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying I can't think of
any. Like I can't think of any either. Yeah.
And it said like Celeste, I'm right near the end of it and I fizzled out. I go back and play like 10 minutes or so now and then, but those levels are quite long by the end, so I'm sort of just dwindling out on it. Iconoclast, this is a very Paul thing. You may notice that there's a lot of games I don't finish, but my don't finish point is I am at 99% completion.
Yeah, see, I get 20% through and I stop.
No. I am like, can't fight the final boss. Got to look around.
You got some
more.
Weird completion anxiety.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, in Iconoclast, there's 2 secret bosses, which I've started fight. I haven't worked out how to really fight them properly yet. And then I I'm missing like a blueprint somewhere. So I'm searching the entire game for the blueprint. And I'm like, God damn. It's like I should have just finished it. Like if I just finished it, because I'm at the end anyway, why do I need that extra blueprint? I'm not going to use it.
But you got to find it.
But that's right there. I'm at 99, and I think it's 98% completion rate. I'm like, I need it. I need it.
See, it's your loot. Like it's the mechanic that hooks into your monkey brain.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't give a shit about completionism. That's not James's bag.
But if I get that blueprint, I can make that equipment and then never equip it. So Dendara, which is on everything, including mobile. And I think from all reports, actually pretty successful on mobile.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know because they've gone in for a high price point.
Yeah. Got really good reviews. And as I say, apparently, basically the mobile sites and the console sites, all of them said, play it on Switch, which is where I'm playing it. Yeah. Because if you want to play it mobile style, you can. If you want to play it with controllers, you can. So you just get all the options on Switch. Yeah. Like, okay. And also I like playing things on Switch, so it worked out great for me. And also I can pretend I know a little bit about Brazilian history now, which I don't.
But you can pretend. And luckily, no one else knows much at all, unless you're Brazilian.
Pretending is half the battle. Yeah. That's what Joe told me.
They did teach us that. So I'm sure you could bluff your way through it now.
Yeah.
Easy.
Exactly. I was going to try and do like a Brazilian accent, but I actually don't know.
They speak Portuguese. And
I suppose they just do something a bit Spanishy.
No. That's a trick.
But the accent's Spanish.
This is what really This is what really.
Shit! I've really stepped it now. Fucked up.
No, this is what got me when I went to Brazil. Right, like, I went like Peru, went to Argentina. Yeah, they speak Spanish there, and like by the end of being through those countries, and like I was by far a Spanish speaker, but I could at least recognize things, and I could hear like I understood certain words and things like that. And you get to Brazil, and you look at it like at Portuguese, and on paper, it looks like it's very similar to Spanish, but the pronunciation. I just none of it. It was like listening to a completely different language.
I was thinking, does Portuguese have like more French roots?
I don't know about French.
I thought French Portuguese was a thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sorry, I was just turning my phone on actual silence, like I forgot to do last week as well, or 2 weeks ago. I don't do it. We should go back to weekly. Let's do it.
We could do it.
Yeah, just have a drunken weekly spaghetti boys.
Spaghetti boys drinking nights with spaghetti boys.
Maybe we just do a weekend one every second week and a normal sober one. I mean, getting drunk every fortnight seems fine.
Just every fortnight.
I mean, it's recorded.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, well, we'll slow down there.
Yeah. But while I'm touching it, do you mind if I speak about Iconoclasts? But now that I've basically completed the game,
yeah, no, go for it, man.
Iconoclasts is one of the best 16-bit platformers that was ever made. If it was released back then, now, it is a very good game. Which maybe I wish they had a couple more modern trappings.
Yeah,
like not having save points and actually just checkpointing you as you go along. It's not a huge hassle, but there's a few points where you've got to run a good few screens before you get back to the challenge you were at. I like the movement mechanics. The swing is a little bit difficult for some at first, but I don't know, it landed pretty quick for me. I was happy with it. I love the story, though. The story just continued to
It's like a sci-fi thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a weird sci-fi thing. And it's I was actually really confused. I think I kept updating you guys on the Slack where I'm like, I just killed like 3 bosses and like half the main characters are dead and all this, and it went up 1%. I'm like, how big is this goddamn game? Because the percentage counter is actually counting your collectibles, not story progression. Okay. I saw a few people saying like, this game's so fucking long, I'm only 50%. It's like, because you only collected 50% of the collectibles. So you're actually near the end of the game. I was much closer to the end of the game because it was like, I had defeated all of the enemies in the game and then there was just like the big bad left. I'm like, what else is going to open up? Is there like another universe I'm going to do? It's like, no, I misunderstood the percentage counter. As I said, I really enjoyed it. The story, the writing is a very offbeat. There's been a few criticisms of some parts. Like it's one of those things where I don't like to make a big deal out of it because I think it's minor and people blow it up, but it is still worth saying. Like, there's some soldiers they're making all these really sexist jokes, and you have to like sneak past them while they're laughing, and then they make one about like an attractive guy, and nobody laughs because that's not fun. Like, because you can't sexually exploit a guy, and it's like, So, a bit homophobic, and it's like, and they are bad guys. It's just like, but it's just, it is written a bit clunky.
Yeah.
Like, I did note it when I went past, but I also thought it was so unimportant to the.
Or was it just?
It's a 20-second thing.
But is it just more what I was saying about the characters, or did it feel like?
It didn't say anything really about the character. It was just like, when you just have shitty people acting shitty.
Yeah.
And I know this from firsthand experience. When I was in high school, I made a zombie film, and it starts with a character telling a racist joke. I thought this would make people go, "This asshole's an asshole." What it does is it makes me make a film that has a racist joke at the beginning, and everyone thinks I'm a piece of shit. So sometimes just having bad people just do bad things if you don't really have the right context to it. And this is better tone than my shitty movie. Like, when I went back and watched it recently, I'm like, oh, I was right to be kicked out of festivals. This did not work. I just looked like I was making fun of Aboriginal people. He's supposed to be a prick.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to get right. So if the writing doesn't come across as clunky, then.
But that said, most of the characters are actually quite. Like, they all have quite a lot of depth. The actual characters. Like, this is random soldiers going through. And they're all written in strange dialects that don't quite read like human speech. But they all are in sort of different ones. So I think it's all deliberate. And I enjoyed it. And that's all that matters to me. Yes. So yeah, Iconoclasts, I still think...
How long did that one take you?
It's pretty substantial, I think. I think I am at about the 14-hour mark on my save file.
Okay.
And I don't know if that counts when I die.
Oh, so it might just be
It might just be the playtime of my success. So it's a pretty substantial game. And I have, as I said, I've been scouring it. And I've gone back through the entire game like 3 times now looking for secrets. But yeah, still, I think it's going to be minimum 10 hour.
That's a good choice.
I'm also playing on it hard.
Yeah.
So... but that said, I haven't been having a terrible time on hard. Like, most bosses take me a few goes to understand the patterns. And it's one of those games that once you've spent just a little bit of time with the boss doing that, when I do beat them, I generally beat them with most of my health.
Okay, yeah.
Because now I get it.
Yeah.
But before I get it, sure, I do die. I really do die. I like when you get to that point because you don't fluke your way through. There was a few areas in Dendara not fighting the actual bosses, but just fighting some of those like tough walls basically. Yeah. And I'm just like, I can't actually navigate this area. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to shoot straight across it in front of the wall, just unload all of my missiles. I'll just take whatever damage. No strategy. Just throw over his shit. It's like, done. Good. It's better when you actually understand what you're doing. Which Iconoclast is very good at doing.
So kind of on that, I have gotten through I'm going to say the first part of Monster Hunter World now.
You up to high rank?
I'm up to high rank now. And it's kind of weird because the way it plays out, it's like you're finishing the game. It's like, oh, we're gonna go have this big battle, and it's gonna be, we're gonna achieve. And then like after
Zora,
you finish,
whatever,
and then after you finish it, they're like, oh, we finally got it, and like it feels like, oh, okay, I guess I'm kind of done. But no, no, you've reached. I wouldn't even call it endgame. Because there's still more game. Like, it still hasn't told you everything.
The way I heard it broken up is that it's low rank, high rank, then Elder Dragons. That's like the 3 stages of the game. And then people are hoping for another level past that. But I think for the story, you've got to beat high rank. Yeah.
So there is definitely still story going on. Like, I have like a new quest and I'm kind of doing that now. But it's kind of reached the point now where low rank, you can kind of just wing your way through it, like when you're fighting things.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's like, no, I got to look, what's this thing weak to? Got to make sure to kind of get the right items for it, bring in the right weapons. Like it's starting to feel a lot more like I am hunting this thing. Like I have to really think about it.
Actually start bothering with traps and all that shit.
Yeah, using environment, all that kind of stuff. Like it still doesn't feel like a massive difficulty like jump. It's more... Oh, okay. Now you understand the basics how to kill things.
Yeah.
You need to start thinking more about it. And if you think about it, you still take it down.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, you can't just go in and like spam your weapon and hope for the best.
Well, the fact that in Monster Hunter, I can go in with a weapon that is not appropriate to fight a monster and still just hit it enough to kill it. That's the thing. It's like, it gets rid of that level as far as...
Yeah. It's also the point in which it's worth going to YouTube and watching videos on how to use your weapons. Because I've been using the bow a lot.
I've been doing that already.
I've used the bow a lot. And until I went and watched a video on how to use it, I had no idea.
You didn't understand about the three charge levels and stuff like that?
Dashing increases charge and things like that. So
yeah, you can go straight to level 2 if you dash into it.
Yeah. So now I'm doing things like if I want to do a charge shot, I like dash to get into position and then do the charge shot and things like that.
So I'd like to point out to the listeners here, you know how I was talking about the bow there, like as if I know something about it? I've only watched YouTube video. I have never used it.
Well,
it's like, you didn't know you could dash to get to level 2 charge? Fucking idiot.
when I first started the bow, like when I jumped in because I like bows in games. I was like, I'll get a bow, and I was doing like hardly any damage. I'm like, this thing's a piece of shit. Now once you know how to use it, you can do quite well.
I want to know if I'm missing anything with the heavy bow gun. I mean, I feel like not, because it feels like it's more about choosing the right type of ammo. But maybe there is just a like, oh no, you don't just hold fire. You have to roll and then fire, and you get 3 times the power.
It could be. I don't know. I still I'm now I think about getting close to 40 hours into that game. I still have only touched half the weapons.
Well, I mean, I don't think it is really designed as a game where you're supposed to use all the weapons.
No, but it's more like there has been enough so far from like 3 or 4 weapons that I've been satisfied.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and it's kind of nice playing it that I know if I'm bored with a weapon, I'm like, I'll just go learn this other one, and it'll be a completely different experience.
Yeah, it's a totally different game.
Yeah,
which is. Yeah, that's when it opened up to me. Like, I was saying last time, it's like that's how people spend hundreds of hours in this. Because it's not even learning the weapon; it's then there's all the variations on the weapon and Monster Hunter World. It's Capcom's fastest selling game of all time. I think it's at like 6 something million games already.
I've bought now 2 copies for other people. And both times has been difficult to find. Like I go to buy it, it's still being sold out. Like it's been doing real well.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping they continue to support this one. Like they've already got a bunch of they've got a new Horizon Zero Dawn crossover coming up. I think on the 28th of this month.
Has the Ryu one happened yet?
I think that one started, but you need to have a Street Fighter save game to do it. But later on, it's going to come available. So if you play Street Fighter 4, you get early access to it. This kind of thing, basically what it is. But the
Street Fighter 4 or 5?
Oh, 5, sorry.
Yeah, so that's only on PS4
then? Not sure. I assume
because
so.
Street Fighter 5 is PS4 and PC only.
Then I assume so, yes.
Ha-ha! Another strike in the heart of exclusivity.
Yeah, like I'm actually real keen on the new Aloy stuff because the weapon you get is a bow. And I've been loving bow. So...
Your cousin's name is Bo.
It's true. Hey, Bo.
We love Bo.
I hope he's listening. I think he does listen. Well, we love you, Bo. You're a good egg. I was actually thinking about Bo today. I was going home. Thinking, I like my cousin Bo. He's a good guy.
I see Bo once a year at PAX, and it's one of the highlights of PAX.
Yeah, he's a good egg. Good old Bo.
I like to crack him open and suck out the yolk. That's the sound. Speaking of hard to find, Bayonetta 2 came out last week.
And too many copies to be purchased by everybody?
No, it's sold out everywhere.
Yeah,
but
the 4 copies in all EB stores Australia-wide.
That was the problem. For some reason, not stocked at like all sort of game department stores, and the ones that were got like 4 to 6 copies. And lo and behold, they're all gone on day one.
Oh, fancy that.
Unless you wanted to buy the $120 special edition.
Are you saying you didn't want to buy the $120 special
edition?
No.
Do you know what was special about the special edition?
It came in a bigger box.
Oh, it came in... It's a fucking steelbook. Shit about that. It's like, yes, I also can make a Coke can into a DVD case. Yes, amazing quality. No, but you also got some stickers.
Okay.
Some... the verse cards, which are just some cards with some characters on them. I guess verse is for universe. They're just like some lore things. And a small paper poster. That's for $50 extra.
That's some high quality value exocycle.
I saw one site where I was looking up what the contents was. They then described that as incredible value. It's like, I don't believe any fucking thing you say in your life. I was like, you know what I want? I want one of the gun shoes.
I want it like as a coffee mug. I want to drink out of that gun shoe.
Oh, that would be good. There was something where they were using big shoes as wine holders. I don't remember what that was. Like a Family Guy thing or something. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But like a drinkable shoe, that would be good.
That would be down for that.
I'd drink for that.
Yeah. So you didn't buy it?
No, I almost did until then.
Do you remember that you had like 5 copies anyway?
Yes. I will buy it one day. Yeah. Because I feel like playing it again on a handheld and good at slightly better quality. But yes, I'm not in a rush to do it. We shall continue the news, though. In the most important news of the last 2 weeks for some people, that person being Amy.
He was not here.
Who's not here. So we'll just tell this news to fuck right off. It is looking increasingly likely, very, very strong rumor, that Amy's long-desired Spyro remaster trilogy will be coming out later this year. Hopefully announced quite soon, and then near the end of the year released. I'll be interested to see how that goes, because I've tried playing the first three Spyros in recent times, and I have no nostalgia for them, and they are a bit rough.
Yeah, see, I would really be keen to go back to Spyro 1. It was sort of the first third-person platformer I really enjoyed. Like, I didn't really get into Mario 64 or anything like that. I did really enjoy Spyro. I don't know how it's going to hold up for me.
I actually think it might be... I'm expecting at least the crash treatment. But it may be better than my actual experience, because I was playing them all on the PSP, and one of the things I was doing was basically working with the PSP emulator, because it's emulating the PS1 games.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To try and make it work like a modern camera twin stick controlled third person, and it doesn't quite work. But I assume it will just straight up be made to work like that.
You'd think so, yeah.
So it might actually play a lot better than what I was playing. Yeah. Yes. So in the most important news of the last 2 weeks for some people, Kingdom Hearts 3 has shown off is a bunch of new stuff, including their new world, which is the Monsters Inc. world.
Yay.
And everyone looks kind of freaky.
Have they gone
in
in
monsters?
Were they going to go into any Marvel movie? What other kind of Disney things are they going to go into?
No Marvel yet. I think Marvel is unlikely for this iteration, but future.
Maybe going forward, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, I kind of expect Star Wars will happen at some point.
Yeah. Imagine this is pod racing with all Disney and
because if
Square
they do
characters.
it, they'll probably go back to like the prequel trilogy and do it there.
Goofy could very easily be made to look like Jar Jar.
Oh, yeah. Yes, let's do it.
Miso. I can't. I don't really know much about what Goofy says. Anyway, in the most important news of the last 2 weeks for some people, there is a Five Nights at Freddy's movie in the works.
Oh,
and it has a director attached. And that director is Chris Columbus.
Who's Chris Columbus?
You would mostly know him from the Harry Potter films, which he directed a great number of.
Okay.
Yes. Five Nights at Freddy's as a movie, I'm not actually against.
See, I have still never played a Five Nights game. I've played games like Five Nights at Freddy's. I understand the concept behind it.
That Bad Space Venture thing?
That was the one I played. The Bad Space Venture one. My understanding of Five Nights at Freddy's is actually a very detailed story behind a lot of this.
I don't know. Well, I suppose it has probably built up levels over time.
And there's actually enough plot there they could make a movie out of it.
Yeah. The weird thing is, it'll be interesting to see how they pitch it. Because it is like animatronics. I think there's animatronics that have like child corpses that were shoved into them and became...
Oh, okay.
Like, it's pretty fucked up.
From the director of Harry Potter.
Yeah. But it's also like Five Nights at Freddy's is like, its main audience is like, say, 8 to 14.
Yeah.
Where it's like...
It's like modern Goosebumps, right?
Yeah, except I think it's a little bit more fucked up than Goosebumps was.
Oh, but Goosebumps had some fucked up stuff.
I guess there probably was. I wasn't a big
some.
Goosebumps person, so I can't really say. So obviously interesting to see where they pitch it, because it's like, this game that exists because someone couldn't model creatures very well and it looks scary. But yeah, that should be exciting. And the most important news in the last 2 weeks for some people is that Burnout Paradise is getting what they are generously calling a remaster for PS4 and Xbox One. You can now play it in 4K at 60 frames a second. Play the version that was on PC 8 years ago, but now.
The best thing about it is there'll be a new community.
Yes.
That's the thing. I'm with, because I'll pick it up.
They closed the servers, didn't they?
I don't know if they did.
Yeah, I don't think you can play Burnout Paradise online anymore.
So yeah, I'll pick it up. Like I just want to play with other people.
You mentioned that it's not on Switch. This rumor started.
Well, that's what
because
I thought.
it was apparently on Switch.
Like, I thought it wasn't in Japan. It was like
I think it was somewhere in South America.
somewhere it was being rated, and it was on Switch or something
Yes.
like that. Yeah, and I was expecting Switch. Like, as a Switch game, like, oh, this will be pretty
the
good.
Switch could run it fine.
Oh yeah,
no problem
And
whatsoever.
this was a 360 game. I'm pretty sure it was on 360. Yeah.
It's like it's not.
It'll do it.
And the thing is, when they're like showing the trailer for like in 4K, I'm like, yeah, but it looks exactly like the old game. It's just a higher resolution
Yeah.
now. That's why it's calling it a remaster.
Yeah.
It's so generous. It's like, no.
Yeah, I'm glad it's there. I was thinking, I got excited when I read the news, but then I did just think I could just play Forza Horizon and probably get a semi-similar kind of thing out of it, in that
Yeah.
kind of like that social driving around a big fun area.
Does Forza have that? Does it? I didn't realize.
Not quite to the extent that that Burnout Paradise does, but you do have things where you drive around and you'll see like the ghosts of other people and things like that. I'm trying to remember if there's. I'm trying to remember how the online events work. I think you might opt into them. Might be how it works. It's not like you just randomly have other people driving around with you. I don't think it works like that. But it still offers a kind of similar experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll get it. Well, actually, it'll depend what the price is. If this thing comes out and it's like a 30, 40 maybe, I'll be like, yeah. If
Burnout Paradise is a bloody good game.
I mean, it is an amazing game. And it's got all the DLC in there as well.
Well, that's because the PC version never got all the DLC.
Oh, didn't it?
No.
There's
Well, at least to my
DeLoreans
knowledge,
and Echo ones and all kinds of fun stuff.
But I can't help but feel I'd like to get it on my Switch.
Yes, it would be nice to get it on the Switch.
Must be racing.
Yeah.
Oh man, like it's weird. What good racing games are there on the Switch?
None.
I think I saw a Monster Energy drink racing game the other day that exists. I mean, Mario Kart, but it's a different kind of thing.
But it's a different thing, yeah. Like, where's your actual
But then, like,
racer?
when I'm like playing like Thumper on the Switch, I mean, that size screen as a handheld and like going, it's like it's immersed. It's great. It's the perfect size for a racer. Give us a.
I wanted
bloody Burnout Paradise on
I'd
there.
love some Need for Speed Rivals. I really like that one.
Yeah,
Get that one on there.
it's like the poor man's Burnout Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a different thing. It's good. It's a good game.
It's a Dark
also.
Souls of. No, it's not. It's.
So, okay. Can I rag on a hotly anticipated game?
Well, what's the game? Hold on.
I literally
tell me what
checked
the game is first.
The game is where the water tastes like wine.
Okay.
So,
I have no opinion on this one, so rag
cool.
away.
So I actually had to go and check that I was allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
It's just reviews that are embargoed, so I was
Not
allowed to go.
impressions.
Yeah, because this game is a game with a who's who of writers in the industry. Everyone that writes is on board with it. Oh, it's American folk tales. It's all these great stories come together. I think I fucking hate it.
Okay.
Like, not just like, this
do you
isn't
hate
for
the
me.
writing or do you hate the mechanics? What is about it?
So the writing might be fine.
Yeah.
Everything around the writing is, I think, if it had come out of a one-day game jam, I would have been, that's okay. I mean, it's not good, but it's okay.
Yeah.
The fact that this is like a pretty high, like Sting is doing the voiceover, like
Okay.
there's a bunch of other voice actors in there, like voice and writing seems they spend a lot of money on. Everything else is just thrown to the wayside. And then even how it's directed. So
what kind of game is it?
that's that. Okay.
Is this the problem?
I'll get to it. No.
Okay.
This is actually good. Like it's like I'm really front loading this with like hatred, but like that's partly because there's some really interesting things about it, and I'll sort of get to it. So the opening scene, and this opening scene is the entire trailer. So unless you're trying to say 100% in the dark, like I'm just saying the scene.
Yeah.
So you sit down at a poker table, and everyone's playing poker. And there's one other good player, and everyone else leaves. And this other player is a silhouette of a wolf. And it's like, how about we bet? And he bets more than you have. So basically, it's like, I'll bet my soul because my cards are really good. So you throw in, and then your cards are like, oh no, he beat me and everything. I've skipped some detail there, so there's still some mystery. But here's the thing: at the end of that scene, he strikes a match to reveal he's a wolf. It's like, yes, he's been a wolf the entire fucking scene. Like who directed this?
Yeah,
The
okay.
fucking there's no subtlety
there's no
to direction.
reveal to this.
Yeah, if the drawings had just been different, the writing would have been much stronger. And like, it doesn't even matter that he was all like, him being a wolf is still inconsequential. You know he's a powerful figure of some sort that is like asking for your soul in a game. It doesn't really matter what he is. It's a reveal of nothing. I'm like, oh, this is not strong. Yeah. This is not starting off on a writing game. Okay. No. So you're in this person's charge, or this wolf's charge, and your job is to roam the American countryside, and this is in the Great Depression sort of era. And you have to collect stories with the sort of concept of you go around collecting true stories, and then you are going to remix them into what becomes folk tales and legends.
It's a good premise.
And I'm like, that sounds really interesting. I don't know mechanically how that will work, but that's really fucking interesting. I'm like, that's right up my alley of something. I love to see how you do it. And at this point, I'm also like, oh, I thought this game was going to be a series of visual novels. And I was fine with that. But hey, you're going for something more ambitious conceptually than that. You actually want to try and construct things, and it's sort of a tarot card system and everything. Okay, great. And then goes, okay, welcome to the game. And suddenly it's a 3D game. Before it's just been still pictures and everything. You are a skeleton with a knapsack for some reason.
Is that what they could buy off the Unity asset store?
It kind of feels that way. And I'm suddenly walking with Wasard. It's like, oh, I thought this was just a mouse-driven game or something. It's like, okay, I've got to control this like it's a fucking platformer or something. And it's a flat American waste like landscape in front of you with not really much detail. Like the art's very low quality. And you just walk very slowly across the landscape until you get to another icon that you can click on. It took me a while to work out what I had to click on it because I couldn't click on it. I think it's spacebar, but sometimes it was E. Because it doesn't tell you. It's like, and then I collected a bunch of stories. I found out then if there's a car going on the road, I can push the hitchhike button and I'll get in that car and travel marginally faster. But there's only one car on the road at any one time because it's just literally, it goes from one place to another, and then once it's finished, it respawns at the original place and drives again. Like, it's very...
It sounds like someone was really out of their depth on the technical side.
Oh, it's
maybe they were real good at talking to people to get them to buy into the
jittery.
idea.
It's nothing going on, and it's jittering. I turned the settings down to nothing, and it still was jittery now and then. I'm like, what is going on? And then later on, it does add a mechanic. Spoilers here. You can whistle. And when you whistle, it's a little bit like Fahrenheit 9/11, where you get to play that Simon game. And if you are successfully whistling, you do walk a little bit faster. Okay. So, when the actual game part comes in.
Yes.
It's a dating simulator.
So that's like the overworld.
So, the overworld, you go to a campsite, and you'll meet a classic American character at the campsite. And go, I want to hear a story about people in love. And so you look at your stories and go, okay, there's one about people in love. And go, thanks for that. And if you get their interest in you high enough by giving them the right stories, they'll tell you a story.
And then you get more story.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's just about walking around, clicking on, collecting icons and then giving those icons to your dating simulators to get folk stories. And if it gets any more interesting than that, I don't know, because I'm really struggling to continue playing this game. Now, the thing is, when this comes out and the reviews come out, I'm betting it's going to be like 99% and everyone's going to fucking love it. And they're going to look at me and say, you uncultured swine, Paul. But I don't care. This game is really... I need to show it to you.
Okay, no, I think after the show, you should give me a look. I
don't want to sound unfair to it. Like, the conceptually, it's great. And I think all the execution is... Like, the writing might be great, but I can't get to enough of the writing because everything around it feels like the UI is not finished. Like, no one's really taken a proper pass at it. And yeah,
it sounds to me like someone was just out of their depth.
Yeah, it feels like the walking across the landscape is supposed to evoke something.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it's trying to evoke. Maybe it's a very American thing, but it doesn't translate to me. I feel like American culture permeates the world enough that should be translated to almost anywhere. But no, it's sort of just watching a slowly animated skeleton somewhat walk, mostly glide, because they don't have it quite matched up with the walking speed and animation, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's just one of those things like, did I get the finished code? I feel really negative about it.
Okay.
But I want to keep trying because there's so much talent involved on the writing end. Oh, actually, and here's the thing. voicing a game about writing is also a terrible idea, because if there's nothing happening on screen, which there isn't when there's writing, it's just text.
You're going to be reading faster.
You read faster than people talk, so you end up skipping and that was probably super expensive getting some of that voice work done. It's like, you know what would be a great thing? Those voices played over you walking.
Yes.
It's like, probably, like, if you were going to the countryside, hearing in your head the voices of the people as you're going through that countryside, giving you some context of where you are instead of just like Boston written on the ground in front of you, that might mean something. But at the moment, they're all disconnected parts and it means nothing. Yeah, if I was playing a dating sim that had voices, I'd be like, turn this shit off. Auto, please. Auto scroll. I was listening to our talk about Doki Doki Literature, just because I check our old our recordings just in case we say anything too terrible.
Do we?
No, we're generally okay.
Yeah, okay.
When we say things that are bad, everyone knows it's because we're idiots.
And terrible people.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it, it's like, God, if Doki had voice, I would have not made it through that game.
I would have skipped a lot of it.
Yeah. Imagine if it didn't let you skip until the voice finished.
You do get stuff like the Virtue's Last Reward.
I haven't played Virtue's Last Reward.
Yeah, there's like the 999, and then there's like another one. They're actually voiced. Like, and there's a lot of text in those games.
It seems like a waste of money. I don't mind occasional voices. Like I like voice cues in a game with a lot of text. You know, just I don't actually exclamations and stuff.
Because my only exposure to that is Cheryl playing them. Mm-hmm. There may be only certain parts of it that are voiced.
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes. Yeah, and with this, I mean, if it just been the intro, if they just got Sting in to do the intro, which I think they kind of did. Yeah, it's like, okay. Intro I watched.
I think even Persona, like, it's basically a visual novel, and it's not all voiced. There's certain parts that are, but
this is a real nitpick. This is a real nitpick. I really hate when they do like cheap animation where they want to do like nice detail animation, but they don't have the budget, so they do it at like 1 frame a second animation. It's like, no, do strong stills.
Yeah, just do
or
stills.
animation.
Yeah. Pick one.
In between the two is just. Oh, I don't like that style. But that's a personal thing. That's not really a like a big criticism. That's just a personal taste thing. But I'm not into that kind of animation generally. I mean, if it won me over, I guess I wouldn't care about it. But now that I'm just in a nitpicky stage,
so much nitpicking.
Now I'm like, oh, that menu's not properly aligned. Okay, so since we're in a nitpicky stage,
yes,
should we talk about Sea of Thieves?
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's talk about Sea of Thieves.
On the Sea of Thieves, we're sailing, a sailing merry day. He can't join in because I'm making enough as well.
I was trying to join in.
Sail the seas.
Bird's eye fish fingers.
Rare is dead to me. Hey.
Oh, no. Really?
Oh, well, I mean, they've been dead for years. I mean, no one from Rare is at Rare anymore. I mean, I'm not the company's dead. I mean, they're not Rare is not what it used to be.
Yes, Rare is a different thing. Rare has changed. So we got to play it last weekend when they had their
finally
stress
played
test.
a game with other people.
Yeah. My first experience with it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I joined a random crew in which I was immediately brigged.
Yes.
Straight away.
Yes. This is a weird thing about your personality because you posted this video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, James seems to be saying this is fun. And please describe this video.
So I pulled out my instrument.
And that's what I normally do when I've got nothing else to do.
And for about 20 minutes, I sat in that brig waiting and I streamed it. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to see what happens. And
so random people throw you in a jail cell for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say isn't everyone's idea of a good time.
No. What I was really hoping for when I was doing that was because they were doing things. They were just carrying on their merry way. Yeah. And so I'm just sitting in this brig and suddenly like the ship starts tipping. I'm like, oh, I guess we're in a storm. And then eventually, I think
if only you had a window.
And then eventually, I think they were kind of surprised. Like they kind of came downstairs and like I was just still there. They just like showed me the map. And then left. I'm like,
well, we're going here.
What I wanted to happen was just like I wanted there to be a dramatic end to my half an hour in the brig, but it didn't. I did just get bored and leave.
Oh, so they never let you out. So
God, no.
So your first fantastic experience was just being locked in a jail cell and leaving out of boredom. Okay, now. Yeah.
So after
the fact that was your first fabulous experience,
I actually did enjoy myself. when I was, because in my head I was constructing all these narratives of what was going on, and
I could do that without a game
because I kept hearing the sounds. I could hear people running around upstairs, the moving of the ship, and I'm playing with things, and I found I had grog, so I got drunk, did that, and then pulled out my accordion, and I was hoping that someone upstairs would hear me do it.
Please just say you pull out your organ again.
I pulled out my organ again.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience. After streaming that, one of the guys from work was like, "Okay, no, let's kind of for realsy, let's play the game." And so it was me and just my workmate. We were in the sloop, so it's a 2-person small ship. And we didn't have too long to play, maybe about half an hour or so. But in that, I found all I want to do is troll people. I was not interested in getting any treasure. All I wanted to do was find other people trying to have fun and ruin it.
You're a great human being. And part of the problem is it's very easy to do that.
Well, and this is one of the things I found from when we played it, that it doesn't feel like there's a terrible amount going on in that game. Now, they have spoken about the kind of things they're going to do when it comes out. There's going to be more communal events, like take down the Kraken and things like that. There's going to be things going on which multiple people need to work together to do it. But at least from the stress test, they don't really demonstrate a lot.
What you're actually going to do. We weren't trolling, but we just kept fighting anyone we saw, and we killed the same people over and over again, and I think they were fucking furious with us.
Hey, I know. This is the part I love the most. I was just the biggest trolling asshat in that game, and I loved it. But it felt in the spirit of that's kind of what the game is.
I like the idea of because as we're getting near the end of our play session and there's literally messages coming up saying the server is going to close, I was like, let's just sneak on board and dump our treasure in there. Ship. I mean, why not? We won't do anything with it.
No.
Good.
So I think that the selling the fantasy of being a pirate, at least from when you first play it, I think works really well. I think that the visuals, particularly the water.
The water is fantastic.
Yeah, the lighting, just the way the day-night cycle works, the way the storms come in.
So my favorite effect was we just sort of been on a little voyage, and I went down, and I didn't really understand how the map worked yet. And I went down to the map, and I'm like, hey guys, we're off the edge of the map, which we were playing with some people that had played before, and go, we are? Shit, which direction are we? And I go, just turn about 90 degrees starboard. And then I walk up on deck because I'd been below. And the entire sea is pink and huge and there's storm. Because it, that's if you're outside the map area, they're just going to kill you with a weather boundary and everything. And that felt like a really good boundary condition and it looked great. I was like, this actually looks really intense. This is good.
Yeah. And I really liked how you had to be on the mic. Because you had to work together to, I spent most of my time in the crow's nest and I was just sort of keeping an eye on things. The one time that I did try to sail the ship, I think we just cracked into some rocks.
No. Some rocks would be understandable. You just went straight into an island.
Yeah. So don't get James to kind of be captain that ship. I'm pretty good at being in the crow's nest and just staying port or starboard. That's most of what I do.
Good boy.
Yeah. Good boy. Just stay out of trouble. Go way to the top in the crow's nest. But I really did like that you had to communicate and you had to work together, which is also a bit of a problem because that's not how I play most games.
Yes.
And it definitely is. It's for people who want to chat to strangers or have regular fans to play with.
Groups, probably.
Yeah, and you can't really be anywhere in between. I don't think there's going to be a lot of value to that game playing it solo.
No.
It's just, sure, you can do it.
Oh, and you'll probably just get constantly trolled by ships of 4 people that see this little sloop going around and it's like, oh, well, we'll go see if he has anything and sink his ship and...
Yeah. And it's actually one of those, I'm almost going to say kind of bad design. It's, what it really didn't offer is enough incentive to not troll. Yeah. It's like the collecting the chests or... I think you could go take down some skeletons to kind of get skulls or something. It seemed like the main activities weren't compelling enough to me. We even really want to do them.
No, mostly you just want to troll.
Yeah, and so what's much more fun is be looking off in the distance. See, there's a sloop over there. What are they trying to do?
We're going to chase it down.
They're gone behind those rocks. Let's go over here and try.
I think being chased down by a big ship might be one of the more thrilling things.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, turn off the lens because they won't be able to see you as you with lens. Yeah. That's happening. Like, I feel like that's where the game is right now, and I don't know if it's going to have the longevity. At least for me, if that's kind of all the game is.
My feeling is that they haven't designed a game yet. That they're still working on a bunch of systems and they've just got to ship something. And
it does feel like that. It feels like they started from, we've made this cool pirate thing. We don't really know what to do with it.
Let me pitch something to you. Well, not pitch. It's like describe something to you. So you've played Wind Waker, haven't you?
Yes.
So you're on the sea in Wind Waker. You see an island in front of you. What do?
I go towards it. Check it out.
Yeah, because...
There could be something there.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves, you see an island in front of you. What do?
You go past it. Why the hell would you go to the island? There's nothing there.
Yeah, they're normally 100% abandoned.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to do with any of them.
That was really... Like, I guess you got things like... You have the seagulls you can see, and you can go check out shipwrecks and things like that, which we didn't do, but that's a thing you can do. But the fact that there were islands that we saw that we just had no compelling reason to explore, like, that's a problem.
I think they need, like, less islands, but bigger islands that are, like... sorry to invoke it, but take some lessons from like Breath of the Wild and like, if I go somewhere, there will be something interesting and I can discover my own stories in here.
Yeah.
And you still have like the generated stuff on top of it, but like there was nothing to discover in that game world.
It's really, really gamey. Like it is for a world that is so pretty. There is zero incentive to explore it that I could see in that demo. And maybe they are keeping some stuff that they haven't, that's not in the demo. There will be other things.
That's always one of those things that I don't buy it.
But even what they've announced, I haven't seen anything that's like I want to be able to just explore, right? Like I want to be able to say, as a solo player, I just want to go a direction and just, I don't know, find something.
I know one of the factions is like into animals. You have to find different animals on different islands and catch them and then take the animals back and care for them and give them... It's like, okay, but is that going to be interesting or is it just going to be a list of these animals on this island and that's it? Do I actually have to go and investigate what animals are on what island? And even then, is that going to be interesting on its own? If I just have a list of get 3 special chickens. I'm like, what's a special chicken?
Get the chicken, yeah.
Also, for a game that is coming out very soon, incredibly buggy.
Oh, we had all kinds of problems with stairs or flying ships. Some people were commenting, the ship's flying.
Well, I had other people. So I was standing at the front of the ship and suddenly I'm in the water. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know you could get knocked off the boat. I mean, I guess, because normally your feet are planted pretty solidly on the boat. It doesn't throw you around or anything. And I go, I guess I'll just look for a mermaid to get me. What? I look up and the ship is 50 feet above the water, like gliding, like quite majestically through space. Yeah. Like, well, I guess that's why I'm off the boat. In fact, if I hadn't touched anything, I bet I would have just like, when it rejiggered itself, I probably would have just been on the boat still. Yeah.
And for a game where there's not really that much going on technically, because there isn't really that much, it's not much world simulation or anything happening. It's really just the physics of the ship.
That water simulator and physics of the ship must be pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that in itself, but that's like, there's not like, we're not dealing with like Skyrim simulation here. Like it's quite simple what's going on.
I would say 50% of the times I went up between the first and second deck in the game, the stairs would bug out on me. And the way the game seems to work is that when you're on that ship, you're just even if the ship's rolling or anything, it doesn't matter. You're just on that ship as an item, as an object. So I don't think your physics are affected by that. I think it's just broken stairs.
Yeah, it was weird.
And there were elements of the UI that just... So many, like, I think it's 100% designed for a gamepad. You were playing with keyboard and mouse though? Yeah. So things like you got to bring up the radial wheel. I kept hitting tab for it. That was just a me thing. But tab seemed to bring up something that had no content.
I think you hit Q for like...
Q was the radial
wheel.
And
then E was for like your quest items.
Yeah. But it was things like if you hit Q and then you moused over something you wanted to use and then you clicked. That's not how you do it, because clicking was use the item you currently have equipped and close the menu. So you just had to move the mouse over it and then release
it was radial a bit strange.
Menu. And so many things were like, there'd be an option for yes, and I go and click yes. And like, no, you have to hit enter. I'm like, oh. I mean, like, yeah, that's no big deal, but a UI designer that had done this and made it from out would have both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just... it's just default things that you would do. It just makes me think they haven't done the work yet. Play it with a gamepad and you probably won't have much issue.
Like, I got used to it pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, I got used to it, but it was one of those things where you go, like, this isn't mature.
Yeah, it was kind of clunky earlier.
It hasn't had the polish pass. And do they have time to do that polish? I don't necessarily think so.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to be a little bit. I kind of almost want to say No Man's Sky, but just in. I don't think it's going to be a massive backlash or anything like that. But I feel like there's going to be this idea people have in their heads of what the game is versus what it actually ends up being. Because I think mechanically, I'd say there's less to do than No Man's Sky. It's more about get the MacGuffin to go from place to place, and then PvP will happen somewhere in between. Seems to be what the game kind of mainly is.
I'm actually still looking forward to it. I'm more positive about it now after playing it, but I'm looking forward to playing it for a weekend and then maybe a year later trying it again.
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat. Like I can see myself. I'm definitely glad I'm just going to get it on the Game Pass now, because I don't feel like that is like a $90 release. It's going to have near enough for me to justify playing that too long, because I'll put 200 hours into Destiny, but I'll look at Destiny and I can see all the systems that are going to get me. And I can see, like, all right, there's enough here going on beyond just the shooting that I'm going to get into this.
Or like my Eureka moment with Monster Hunter, where I'm like, I see why someone puts 400 hours into this.
This, I see a lot of people watching streams.
Yeah.
That's what I see. It's a streamer's game from what I can see now. Or, like, I want to say even, like, PUBG, but I don't know if it's... Maybe the PUBG crowd...
It doesn't have the strong loop of PUBG.
Yeah. See, I don't know, like because it's not like the shooting really feels that good.
No, the combat felt very sloppy.
Kind of feels like very So, I'm sounding really down on it, but I did really enjoy my time with it. Like,
that's because it's fun to do things with friends, James.
Well, but it wasn't just that. There was like the moment when I'm just on the bow of the ship, and I can just like I don't think we were talking at the time, but just like the visuals and the sound and the way the waves were moving. I'm like, this is like. Yeah, like it feels really relaxing. Like it almost felt like I was playing a walking simulator or something like that. Like it's like like as some escapism, this is really working. But I can see that wearing off real fast. Like it's going to be like, oh no, I'm just going get the crate. I'm hoping that there's more. I'm hoping that, or if there's not more, they're regularly adding more stuff.
Yeah, what I feel like I want it to be is I want it to be like a co-op game that's like the Outer Wilds, but with pirates.
I don't mind it being a little bit like Elite Dangerous, where like Elite Dangerous
if it went more that direction, I could buy that as well.
Yeah, like say they had trading, like that, like actually like legitimate trading, buying and selling between islands, and I could make like a trading company. Like that would be fun. Like,
I mean, if it was a bit more MMO-ish in that, and then having
crafting. God, it's screaming for crafting.
Yeah. So, but I was also thinking guilds and like actually like it's like, if I attack that ship, yeah, sure, I might get that, but then this entire faction will have like a bounty on my head and stuff like that.
Yeah, player bounties would be a big one as well. Yeah, I it's all these things like like we could riff on about it for ages. I'm sure. Like thinking.
Let's do that next 20 minutes.
Yeah, all the things you could do with this game. It's just whether or not that happens. Like if the game is going to be more about we want the streamers, and it's going to be a pretty simple loop that streamers can stream real easy. Then maybe you'll just stay kind of where it is.
They can entertain with.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a great... Well, actually, it can't be a good podcast game because you've got to talk, but a good catch-up with friends game.
Yeah.
Let's hang out and do a thing.
Well, it's so low commitment in what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like... Because it's not like... There's not really any progression. You can't get left behind. It's like...
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing.
But that also means that
everything kind of has no consequence.
Yeah.
It's like I fell off the boat and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It wasn't like suddenly a rescue mission. It was like, just go find the nearest
wait for the
mermaid
mermaid,
and click on him, and then you go on. That said, speaking of games you just want to idly play with friends, I've got a real hankering to play Wildlands with people.
Man, I'll pick it up if you pick it up.
I thought that game was just like hot trash in the beta, but the thing was, I still had a lot of fun playing
I'll pick it up. I've heard real good things about it.
Oh, yeah. A few friends I know played through a bunch of it, and it's like...
One of the guys at work, he was playing the shit out of it with his wife. They were really getting into it.
I mean, I think it was just mainly the fact the way the motorcycle physics work, which made me laugh so much. It's like they just didn't bother giving it physics. It was amazing.
It's Ubisoft, so you know they're going to support this shit.
Well, they are still supporting it,
yeah.
And I just remember when we were playing it and the mission where we just finished a mission and everyone had a bunch of gear and like I called in the helicopter And while I'm flying the helicopter back and everyone's sitting inside it, they're sorting out their gear and like, yeah, this is actually a pretty good situation. This downtime isn't just them having to watch me fly. They're getting to do something while I fly. And then I get to scream when I accidentally am about to hit a mountain. It's like, fuck, everyone watch out, I'm sorry. I'm just like setting up ambushes across a valley and everything. Like, there's good stuff in that.
Just staying on Ubisoft for a second. Last weekend there was a Rainbow Six Siege free weekend, and so last I played of that was on Xbox One. And as a console shooter, I didn't really enjoy it that much. Like just that it's like on a controller.
Yeah,
really
I've only played it on PC.
Yeah.
It would seem. I mean, for people that are used to first person,
it was fine, but it was like it wasn't like Destiny where I'm like, okay, now this
for
works.
us, it's a PC game.
Yeah, it's like so. I thought, I'll pick it up. And just because we're up to like I think year 2 now. They're into, and I actually really liked it. I didn't do any like PvP. I did like some of the tutorial missions and terrorist hunt, which is closest to the kind of LAN party stuff we used to do with original Rainbow Six, where it's like
that game was great.
Yeah, and like
in my memory, and will remain as such.
It maybe keep it there. I did really enjoy playing it with other people, though I was a bit disappointed that I'd heard the community was real solid. At least maybe just because of the free weekend, it was a bit negative. Like because a whole bunch of people come in because it's a free weekend that don't really know what they're doing. So maybe don't go scream noob FGT. When someone's
FGT,
just call them homophobic things.
Is FGD a homophobic?
FGT is what I'm going for.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an acronym that I didn't know. I am getting old. I don't know.
You don't know all the TLAs.
Yeah. What's what?
The 3-letter acronyms.
Oh, good. I actually had forgotten.
Yeah, I love that one. So it was, but it wasn't too bad. It was just the community wasn't as tight as I thought it was going to be. But I gave like some of the single player stuff a go, or like the training mission stuff, and it's just things like raid the house to escort out the hostages and things like that. Real fun, super goddamn stressful. Like I played like the first couple of missions. I'm like, I think I had fun, but I need a break.
I like it. It's like me with Dendara at the moment. It's like I'm always on edge.
Yeah,
but I fucking love
it.
It
was good tense. I definitely was like, I was really engaged, and like I felt like it felt because you die pretty easy. It didn't sell me on it, mainly because not because I didn't think it was a good game. It's just I played it. I'm like, this is good. I can see why this is doing well, but it's too tense. It's not why I'm playing a game. Not to be this tense.
How long ago does that come out now?
I think it's like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I thought it was like 2 years on.
Yeah, they've got I'm going to say zombie mode, but it's like aliens or something like that.
Should be Zardoz mode.
Yeah, oh man, that'd be pretty good. Sometimes Zardoz crossovers in video games.
Yeah.
There's references occasionally in things.
That's because Zardoz is secretly everybody's favorite film.
It's secretly Paul's favorite film. No, not secretly.
Just the multiple references.
Yeah, just like like the poster.
Yes, my
Zardoz,
friend at work 3D printed me a Zardoz head and gave it to me today. He had it in a little box. So he goes, it's like lift the box. Like I did because I knew he was 3D printing me something. Yeah. I'm like, what could it be? It was like a Rick and Morty thing. I was like, like it'll be fine. But, and then everyone was like, oh, how did you know?
It's a good 3D print.
It's not bad.
It's very nice. Bad. Yeah, I'm really impressed at 3D printing these days.
It's getting good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah, so and kind of related to that, I also checked out an alpha of a game this week, which is called Police Stories. Now, did you play Police Stories?
Well, I have a story about that.
Okay.
So this afternoon I was like, you had said play Police Stories.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll download it.
Yeah.
I was trying to find hard getting the link. And you had to subscribe to get the link. And I said, you're already subscribed. I'm like, what are you talking about? I downloaded this demo like 9 months ago.
Oh. Had you just not played it? Or you?
No, I'd played it. I'd forgotten about it entirely. I didn't play it a lot. And it's fair, but I loaded it up again. Like, oh yeah. Because then I like tried to extract it and like couldn't extract it. I'm like, why? Like, oh, it's already in the directory. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. So I just started playing it because it showed up on my just Steam suggestions. Is all it was. And it's probably because I was playing like Rainbow Six Siege or something like that. And I kind of the art reminded me actually a bit of maybe Dreamweb. Like in that kind of like...
That's what everyone's going for these days.
Yeah, that Dreamweb aesthetic. But that kind of like VGA late 90s kind of thing. But it has the kind of the top down view from Dreamweb. But what it made me think of, it's like Hotline Miami, if the aim was to not kill people.
Not kill people or not kill innocent people?
No, not kill people. Ideally, you get through without killing anyone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could disarm the bad guys.
So it's a police simulator, which is just think basically Hotline Miami, where you're opening doors and things like that. Really quick restart because you will die like that. Your partner will die like that. And it's got a really solid order system for moving around your partner. So, you can say move here, cover here, open the door, breach this, throw in...
Man, I think I didn't mess with any of these systems.
Because it was a really great learning experience because I played one level in that game. And I must have been playing about 20, 30 times. Because you just die and try again. And every time you would start again, it would reposition where all the hostages were, where all the evidence was, and where all of the enemies were.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So even though I was going through the same area, it did feel really fresh every time. And it was something where, to start off with, you're just going to die. And then it's like, okay, next step, you're just going to murder everyone. So first time I finished the mission, all the civilians were dead, all the enemies were dead, and I got like the lowest ranking possible. It's like, okay, well,
a C+.
Solid Marvel.
I hear that Black Panther's good.
I've been hearing good things about it. Yeah, I'm going to check that one out. But I just kept playing because I got like this really like D- rank. I'm like, okay, all right. Going to try and do this thing, because if you walk into a room and you just shoot an enemy, then you'll lose points because you'll get an unauthorized kill. If you yell "get on the floor," then they shoot you because they're going to shoot at you. Then it's fine. It's like, you're defending yourself, but you get more points if you yell at them, fire some warning shots, and they drop their weapon and you arrest them. Or if you do a flashbang and you go in, because you can like put a mirror under the door as well. So you might like go up to a door, put the mirror under. You can see, okay, in that room, there's a bikie who's got a gun pointed at a hostage. So it's like, okay, you do the breach charge, you go in, that stuns them, you yell, put up your hands, so, get down on the ground, you're under arrest, and they, drop the gun and, you can arrest them. And so when I was playing when I got through it the second time, I think I got through with like a B+ or something like that, because I think I still took a shot. Like I hit once or something. But I just went through and I managed to like get everyone like arrested. I got all the hostages. It was... I felt by the end of it, I was like checking all the corners. I was issuing commands to my partner, all this kind of stuff. And I felt like, because I've been wanting like non-lethal strategy for a while, because it doesn't really come up that often anymore. And it was really nice playing a game where it's like, you're playing the police, and you can just shoot people, but you'll lose points for that unless you have a good reason to shoot them. Felt really refreshing. And it also, when I first started playing through, the moment you have before they shoot you is real fast. Like, they will just like, if they're going to shoot you, they will shoot you. And so when I was trying to not shoot them, I'd end up still killing them. I killed so many civilians, like just because I just shoot indiscriminately when I went in. And I really started to get much more picky with much more careful with how I was doing things. Checking my line of sight, getting more cover. Like it was like this really good learning experience of like the curve felt really good. Like by the end, I was playing completely differently than when I started. Puppy.
For the listeners, I got the dogs and
they were going to be crazy outside.
They were being a bit crazy.
So it's just in alpha at the moment. There was a Kickstarter last year, which somehow I completely missed.
Yes, that's why I was on it.
It was because I love things like Police Quest, and it's got a very kind of, even though it's very like it's a completely different game than Police Quest.
It's still more arcadey than Police Quest.
Like it's still, I can still tell it's kind of channeling kind of similar concepts.
There's a really good article out at the moment about the making of Police Quest 4 and the relationship with like the head of police who like consulted on it, who at the time was like in charge of the LA police during like the Rodney King and everything. It's like it's a real like And remember that game's subtitle?
Dare.
Open Season.
Oh, Open Season. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, real fucker. Real interesting to read about that.
Yeah,
Real interesting about that.
Police Quest has always been an interesting one because there was always because it was, I think Jim Hall was the like designer on it, and he was like an ex-police officer. And there was so much consultation with legitimate police to do it. Like you had to learn to lead, how to arrest someone, how to handcuff people. Like they really tried to play it true to like what it was to be a police officer. And I feel like with police stories, they're making a good effort to go, let's just not be militarized police. The police can't just go murder people. There are policies, procedures they have to follow.
We've learned our lessons from Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah, it's not Battlefield Hardline. And Battlefield Hardline made me sad because it was just a militarized police. Like, police shouldn't be riding around in the cop car with guns out the windows listening to AC/DC. Like, this is...
Yeah, they need a better band than that.
I don't even know if there was any Acrodacker in it, but I feel like there should have been. Some Thunderstruck as I'm going around. Hey, puppy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you finish up your thoughts on that. I might put the puppies back outside now that they know that we're in here and we haven't done anything too nefarious. Kind of settled
down a bit.
Yes, because I feel like they're gonna crawl all over us.
Yeah. So I haven't played the second level yet because I know they go into stuff like having to defuse bombs and things like that. So there's going to be some online co-op as well. So in the kind of final version. I think it's due out sometime this year. I was a little worried when I saw it was. Go puppies, go! Go puppies, go! Because immediately after playing it, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to find out more about this game. So I went to like look at their news posts and like, oh, they haven't actually done like a post since like mid last year, and like the people involved are working on other projects. And like, oh no, their Kickstarters like they've given up. But no, they're still going. I was going to tweet it. One of the
dogs are already
they're already going for it. So no, it's still going. It should be out this year. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. Like it's one of those things where like I just traditionally I think would frustrate me because it's like insta death. But I was learning so much as I was playing it.
Yeah, I think insta death has like while that's one of your red flags, I don't think that's true. I think there's lots of games with insta death that you're fine with. Just matters how it's done.
Yeah. Well, I think each time I died, it's like, okay, I've learnt more.
Yes.
Okay, I've learnt more. I can't just run in here. I need to use my equipment to get through this properly.
Insta death where you can suffer great loss at not really your own fault is shits anyone off, I think. It's like, I ran around here for 8 minutes and then something just jumped out of the wall and killed me in one hit. Fuck this game.
This one, whenever I died, it's like, okay, I wasn't fast enough. Yeah. Like, I yelled, get on the ground, and he just shot me. It's like, okay, well, what do I have to do? Okay, I'll throw in a flashbang next time if I see there's more people. It's like, okay, cool. That dealt with this situation. I really enjoyed it. So that's police stories. Yeah, and there's just an alpha you can just grab off. There's a link on the
and the thing is that I don't think that alpha has actually updated since the original. So
who knows where it is
if
now.
That's where it was basically a year ago.
As a vertical slice, it's solid. It's
pretty cool.
Like it doesn't feel like it feels like everything there. But the only problem I ran into was like there was a locked door, but I used up all my breach charges, so I couldn't finish the level. Yeah, but it's an alpha. Like that's that's fine.
That's understandable. In the most important news of the last 2 weeks for some people, the remake of System Shock has been put on hiatus.
Oh.
Basically, they fucked up.
How did they fuck up? What did they do?
So, and it would be interesting to track back because I think we talked about like as it was continuing development, and I'm not sure what our feelings were. So remember when they released the first demo and it was System Shock, but
pretty.
Yeah, but it's exactly the same design.
It was the exact same maps, yeah.
And then they switched engine and they started to make it look more modern and do so. And I then think they overscoped it.
Yep.
And the problem then becomes also that wasn't what they promised. What they promised was a remake of System Shock.
I was happy with that. I just want System Shock like HD, System Shock remastered.
Yeah.
That's all I'm there for. That's fine.
So don't know what's going to happen with that project. But
that's a shame.
Disappointing.
We'll see what happens. I mean, hiatus basically means that thing's cancelled. But
I think they what the hope is that they rescope it back down to being the original pitch instead of their heightened idea.
Yeah, if they just go back to look, we're going to remake the maps because that game. If you go back and play System Shock 1, the levels are nicely designed. The world is great to explore.
That demo, like all the modeling and textures was based on the original ugly thing, and they made a way of making that look quite nice.
Yes.
Just keep doing that.
Yeah, no, that was fine. That was like what they're doing. They were on track.
Yeah. I wrote before we got off Ubisoft, Ubi time. Because I thought we needed to talk about more Ubisoft, but I'm trying to remember what it was. So things to talk about. Assassin's Creed Origins took 3 months to break the copyright protection on PC. It's done now, apparently.
Oh, they've got their discovery mode in there now.
Is it open now?
I believe it's there now.
And what I didn't realize, you can buy that separately.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I just thought it was a free DLC for it.
It's free DLC, but if you just want Assassin's Creed Origins' discovery mode as an educational tool, you can just buy that.
That is cool.
I think it's like $12 or something.
That's really cool.
It's like, that's actually pretty fun.
You could buy that for your kid. You got like an 8-year-old. You don't want murdering.
Oh, actually, that's a great idea.
So much stuff you could do in that game.
A giant world of exploration, but without the violence and such in it. It's like, and it's actually educational. You can sell it to schools.
No, that sounds really good.
No, that's cool. Yeah. That was the only other Ubisoft thing I think I could think about.
I think Ubisoft is fast becoming one of my favorite companies.
Their current strategy of long tail support is great. I'm still super, super worried about Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think that's just because it's not going to be what you want it to be. I don't necessarily know what I want it to be. I'm just afraid of what it could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Yes. I think your concerns are justified, but I think whatever it is, it will be supported and will maybe eventually turn into something. Like the Division when it came out had a lot of problems.
You know what? It could take some cues from Sea of Thieves.
Is it co-op?
Space Pirates.
Oh, it is multiplayer.
It is going to be multiplayer. Yeah. Let's just drop everything to do with Beyond Good. Let's make it Sea of Thieves in space. We can call it No Man's Space of Thieves.
Done. Take my money, sir.
Sea of Space. Sea of Skies.
Sea of Skies.
Yeah, it works. Yeah,
it's not bad. It's not Sea of Skies. No, actually thinking about it, it's a terrible fucking name.
Not as bad as... What's your new game called currently?
Sky Squadron.
It's a terrible name.
Oh, it's because it was called Ace Attack, and then someone said, that name... Because that was always like a total working title.
Yeah.
Being the follow-up to Astro Attack. Let's call it, Ace Attack for now. Unfortunately, just like when you put in, concept like placeholder art that's too good. It's not really obviously it wasn't called Space Game 2. It was like, oh, so it's about cards.
You should call it Art Attack.
Art Attack, like the old show.
It still exists.
Oh, it's still going.
I'm pretty sure it still exists. Art Attack.
It taught me how to make glass, how to draw glass with three little lines in the corner.
That's
to make
pretty
it look,
good.
Yeah, I remembered that one.
Yeah. We should mash it up with Behind the News.
Oh, that was a great show.
Here's some deep cuts for Australian children.
I was actually thinking about Behind the News, and I think Behind the News, for those who don't know what Behind the News is, was a show back when I was in primary school, where they were critical. It's basically like Media Watch, but for kids. But for as a tool to teach kids critical thinking about media, fantastic.
Hey,
it was amazing.
Yeah, frankly, media literacy is super important these days.
We had every week we'd watch Behind the News in class, and we'd then have to go watch a news article on the news and critically write about it, like what's the actual going on behind the news.
Just like the show's
just
name.
like the show, but it was an amazing. But tell you what happened one time. So I was at my grandparents. I was doing my homework, and I needed to watch because I think my grandma was using the TV in the lounge room. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go into their bedroom and watch the news in there. So I go in, and I'm watching the news.
There are all these special tapes.
No, but my grandpa was in the shower.
Oh,
So he walked out. So this is 8-year-old James just watching the news. My grandpa walked out completely buck naked. The look of shock on his face was just I still have this vision of he had no idea what the fuck was going on. And so I very quickly got out of there. Never spoke about it. We just pretended this little thing never happened.
It's just a little bit of family nudity.
It's just accidental nudity. It happens. But he's very
What's
British.
accidental nudity?
He's very British and conservative. So it was
was it was it twirled like a mustache on either side?
I can't remember. I don't remember.
Did I ever tell the story about just me getting a media literacy thing recently about fake news?
No, but it sounds like it's useful.
I was quite excited. It was a tool, like a training thing online to tell what was real and what was fake. And I was super, super fucking disappointed because you get an article and I go okay, well, this is source. This is like looks good and everything. It's if it's from like I can't remember which of the good New York things is. Which was the time.
New York Times.
Times is good. And what's the other one?
I like New York Times, but New York Times is pretty left.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
They're like the Guardian of New York.
Like knowing a bias is fine. Well, it's not even bias. It's just like what you choose to report on. I guess that is still a bias. But it's like, okay, it's also like, oh yes, it's there. Yes, that's real news and everything. And then it'd be like, oh, soap causes hepatitis from crazytown.com. I'm like, well, that's fake. And then they'd have like an article that it was just like, okay, well, this doesn't have any sources in it, and it is not particularly well written. And you go, oh, and it's on, I don't know, let's just say Courier Mail, because I can't think of any American papers. I'm like,
it's BuzzFeed.
Okay, well, that's not news. And go like, and they go, oh no, it is news, but it's just not a very good one. I'm like, no, just because you are established doesn't mean you get to not practice journalism properly. And then it's like, and just because this site is a crackpot site doesn't mean they can't actually have something real once in a while. You can't just only use source as your validation of what's good and what's not.
This is something I did recently. Was I just went to kind of pop my lefty bubble, and I followed a bunch of conservative news sources, even like just slightly right leaning, like the Australian. I wouldn't say it's extreme right, but it's definitely on the right side of things. And
it's right of me.
Yeah, it's right. It's righter than I am. And you do see like, I think I've kind of like seen like there are the things that I see that are like right leaning that make me mad. But then I look at things like The Guardian or New York Times. I'm like, yeah, but I see a whole bunch of lefty things kind of, which I'm sure would make the other side mad too. But I do see like reputable news sort of coming from both. It's only when you get to like the extremes, like if you're on like your junkies, if you want to go looking like your left, or you Barabits kind of, on your right.
Barabits.
Barabit. You know the name of the wine.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I never heard it pronounced that way.
Yeah, I said it wrong. But like, I think
that's all right. You can say however you want. Let your heart sing.
If you're in the middle of the bell curve, it's just a big spag. You just have to understand the bias from both of them.
So here's one of my bias observations about left news and right news. The comments are pretty much the same, because people on the left read an article and they're all like, fuck the right. And on the right, they read an article about the right and they're like, fuck you for not being the right type of right. So it's very similar.
Yeah, I do.
Because my wife on Facebook made me follow a bunch of right-wing politicians as a joke, but I kept them up there.
Yeah.
And their entire fan base hates them everything they do, because something previous they did was against it. So they never forget. Everything they do, it's like, open to school today. It's like, fuck you for supporting this. That happened 3 years ago. I'm like, oh, sorry. When I was
popping my bubble, I also went and followed Pauline Hanson.
Oh, yes.
And I am glad that I follow her, but then I do worry, it's like, who likes Pauline Hanson? James Pauline Hanson. No, like there needs to be I just want to listen to them. I don't necessarily like them, but I just want to. I want to hear what I have to say.
You can follow.
Maybe I need to follow her instead of like, because I want to follow her. Because this is one of the good things about coming out of this little exercise is that like even someone like Pauline Hanson, who does some pretty abhorrent things, you're still like, she'll be just things like, let's just talk about Paladin's been in the army for a while. Vet news, right?
Oh, vet.
Yeah, sorry. Veterans. My brain just couldn't get it. Like, veterans and some of their rights.
Yes.
And, how it's like, oh, okay. Or, going out to like a regional community, just talking about how these people are ignored by, like they don't have basic services and things. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like these are like perfectly valid things for you to be talking about. It's just, unfortunately,
it comes with a wrapper of all.
There's also
else.
the horrific things that come along with it.
Well, because the main person I follow was Christopher Pine.
He's a fixer, that man.
Quite frankly, like he is a career politician, and he's like in that view of me is like he'll always be that level of he's playing the game more than he is trying to help anyone.
I get the same impression from him.
Yeah, but at the same point, he's one of the more amusing of all.
Yeah.
I think that's what most of the politicians are. It's like
they're playing the game.
Yeah, the best politicians are ones that, the best as in successful are ones that are playing the game. They're not necessarily, they don't have a strong ideology they're trying to represent. They're trying to represent keeping their job.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Australian politics.
Politic time is over. Now let's talk about gender and sexuality.
Yay!
Hey! There's only one.
There's only one gender. Like you're going like full in on this.
Yeah. Have fun.
Like you're not even going two. Like nah, you get one.
Yeah, it's one gender, one sexuality.
That's it.
Yes.
I love by just saying there's one gender. I've never actually heard that as a premise before. Like there's just one. I refuse to acknowledge that there's more than one. It's like it's just a fuck you to everyone. It's
It's everything. You got an Indian or an Audi. I don't care.
Yeah. Like, it's not a slide.
It's all the same.
It's just one color.
Yeah. It's not a slide. This isn't a binary. This is a fucking
it's a unary. You get one.
We're all the same, and I don't mean that like as if we're equal. I mean we are literally the same. That's. I don't think you can get hate mail for that opinion.
No, I don't know. I would just get it from everyone. Like I just like
no. I think everyone's on board with my new theory of unity. Yeah.
Unigenderism.
Yeah. It's just good times. When someone asks you gender, you just go thumbs up. Yeah.
Not this.
No. Just one thumb.
Just one thumb.
Just one.
Dear.
Anyway. Other games. I played other games. Oh, one of the ones that I did in the intro. Better talk about it.
Probably
we'll be in
should talk
trouble.
about it, yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus came out.
Oh,
remastered.
yes. So
now it feels like ancient history because it was an entire 2 weeks ago.
Our original experience with Shadow of the Colossus was me buying it, me bringing the PlayStation 2 to, I think, the coast.
Yeah, we
for a
went up to
weekend.
Noosa for a holiday.
In Noosa. I tried to play it and got mad, and then watched you play it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching Paul play it.
It was a very good game.
It was very good.
So this remaster is very, very pretty.
Yes. Frame rate's nice and solid.
Frame rate's very solid.
Is it 60 or 30?
I think on the regular PS4 it's 30, but 60 on the Pro.
Okay.
And part of the problem of me playing this game again, I put it on easy because I was like, I just want to run through the game and re-experience it. But even pushing it back up to the harder difficulties, I know how to win it.
See, this is the thing, isn't it?
That first Colossus took me 30 seconds. I'm losing the majesty if there's no struggle. You need the struggle. That's part of the game.
Yeah, well, it's also the discovery of the next Colossus.
Because
they get mixed up a lot throughout that game, exactly what they are.
Especially for the first half that I've run through so far, I just run straight to their location. Because even though I haven't, even with I didn't play through the re-release, it's still ingrained in my brain. Because it's that impactful of a game.
Yeah, and I don't think this is. Well, I guess what's the target? Who's the target audience for this game? Is it Paul, or are they going? We want to just bring this game, which when it came out was really pushing the limitations of what the hardware could do.
And the thing is, you want to play it on this? It's weird. This is a very weird opinion I'm about to say. The fact that to run it was a struggle on the PS2 almost was more impressive. In that, this is so intense. Even the hardware I'm using can't handle this shit.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that was part of it. It was
not by design, but I think part of our experience, it actually did contribute to it.
It felt like it was really pushing the boundaries of what they could achieve.
Yes, and what a game even was, what an action adventure game was. It's there aren't lots of enemies everywhere. There are only 16 targets. There's also only I can't remember. Is it 16?
I think somewhere between 12 and 16 is my guess. I honestly can't remember. There was some number of Colossi.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing it. I should have counted.
It was more than 5.
Yes, it's more than 5.
And
less than 100.
Okay. Yes, and less than 100.
I lost my thought of train. Yeah. And then it's the actual attacking of the creature was a puzzle in itself, but it was a fluid puzzle. It had physics driving it and stuff like that.
And then there was the energy bar, so you had the tension of do I hold on versus do I try to it's.
And those things are still unique, but not special anymore. But all those things are used elsewhere.
Is it special for people that haven't experienced it before?
Well, it just doesn't have that newness of that. Now, my overall this is that it's a fantastic remaster and it plays really, really well. And if you've never played it, definitely play it. And if you want to remember it, go back and play this instead of the PS2 because it had the experience of it struggling is good in my nostalgia, but no, it wasn't.
I don't
good
think
in
you
real
want
life.
to play the game at 15 frames a second.
No, fuck. Oh god, you wish it was at 15 frames a second.
Oh, really? Was it even lower?
Oh, at some points, Jesus, it's just like pure slideshow when you're in some of the hair, especially. I mean, this runs really nice. Everything there's a photo mode, which is fun to play with. I quite often try to get a Colossus to attack me just so I could push down on the D-pad just before it hits me, so I can try to get a good frame going. Yeah. Camera needs a little bit of work. You can't position it exactly where you want. I'd like it to be a bit more free, but anyway, that's my problem. And the weird thing is, one of the things I was wanting was them to sort of change how some of the interactions work to be a bit smoother on a modern system, and they didn't. It's the original game running below it, except it doesn't matter because with everything smooth and like realized properly, those systems are actually fine. The worst one is getting on the horse and
Arrow.
Well, calling arrow is fine. It's you got to be next to it and you got to sort of be still, or you do another action. But that took me like a minute to get used to again, and that was it. So it's super impressive. It's not, for me to even think I could recapture even half the magic was madness. Because that game was for us as teen, I suppose what we would have been like 18, 19 at the time.
It would have been around there,
Yeah. So like us as young adults, and this gaming being so important to us, and this game coming out of
even
so
just sort
impressive.
of pushing the limits of what a game is, the idea of a game coming out which is nothing but like serene ride from boss to boss, like that was the whole game. Like I'd never seen a game structured like that before. It's like there's no conflict like from boss to boss. It's just and
some of the enemies don't even really attack you. It's you just kill them and it's not nice. But yeah, I mean, I can never recapture that, but the game is still fucking great. That's my problem at the moment. I just go down and I remember like the struggles I had with certain enemies. They're like, oh no, I just shoot it there and then I can climb up its leg and then it's dead. Stab it. And then, got to stab it on its butt now. Stabbed it in both places. It's dead.
I guess, because I was just thinking, because we were talking about System Shock before, and it sounds like at least like our original idea of what they're trying to do with the System Shock remaster is quite similar to what Shadow of the Colossus is, where they were trying to keep the base game, but kind of put this new fresh layer over the top of it. It sounds like the System Shock one, there was so much broken with that original experience that the idea of someone going in and modernizing it is real appealing. Yeah. Whereas Shadow of the Colossus, it probably wasn't. The game itself was already so impactful. It was
well, as I say, it's still running apparently the original code below.
Yeah, like it was just really more the technical limitations, which were probably the biggest thing. Yeah. The game itself was fine, and it's not like it's just polishing up what was already there and polishing up really well. And that's not a slide on it, but it means that it's not going to be as impactful as something where we've added some more Colossus. We've changed. Well, that was the thing
that they had all these hidden coins in the world. You had to get like 72 coins, and it was like, are we gonna get the next? One of the Colossus that they didn't finish off, is it going to be in there? You got a sword.
Oh, okay.
It hits harder, but you take more damage. And frankly, at the moment, I don't really take much damage in the game because I already know what to do.
You know how to dodge.
What I need to do is I need to use one of those memory erasing rays.
Oh, one of those things. You mean Scotch?
Oh, I was in Simpsons. The memory erasing is just a handgun. Be sure to wipe your own memory too. Oh no. Yes. Oh man, to just erase memory sometimes, even just a detailed remover. Yeah. It's like, you know what Shadow of the Colossus is, but you don't know how to kill any of the Colossus anymore.
You remember that you liked it.
Yeah. That'd be good. Oh, man. I want to play that final sequence again. I think I can beat it this time.
Can you beat it?
No.
I didn't think you could.
But I'm not going to say more. Okay. Let's move on before we spoil anything for a 15-year-old game. Shadow of the Colossus is very, very good, and you should play it.
I checked out Florence.
Oh, yes.
This week.
Florence was the one game in the booth of that publisher that I didn't play at PAX. I loved all of their other games. So tell me about Florence.
So it's from a Melbourne team?
Yes.
This is from from Mountain something? Anyway, it's Monument Valley people.
Oh, I didn't realize it was...
fairly... Oh, man, now I need to... Now I doubt myself.
I'll double check for you. I just took it as faith value, but...
Yeah. So I wouldn't so much call this a game as it is kind of it's kind of... I wouldn't say visual novel, like visual picture book. Like it's very light on any kind of dialogue, like written text or anything like that. But it's a story. It's quite short. You can play through it probably about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes. Like it doesn't take long to get through. And it's a very slice of life kind of story, just about a relationship basically. And it's set in Melbourne, and it's like this young girl meeting this musician and then their relationship. Throughout it does some interesting things with like some of the gameplay mechanics. Like there's not a lot going on. Probably the one that I like the most, because some of the mechanics in there, they feel really gimmicky. Like I don't really feel like they're adding too much to the story.
Yes, it does say Monument Valley, by the way.
Just an example of like, I think one of the successful mechanics is the conversation mechanic, where when you're talking to your partner or the person you're dating with, it's like you have like a speech bubble, an empty speech bubble, and puzzle pieces to put in it. And when you first start the conversation, you have to basically fill in your speech bubble with puzzle pieces to kind of complete it. And when you first start, it's quite difficult. Like, you're piecing together this conversation and submitting it. But as you talk more and more, suddenly the pieces get simpler and simpler and simpler until eventually it's just piece, go. And I felt that was a really nice way to capture, the awkwardness of talking to someone and then, it's like, oh no, we actually get on really well, and then suddenly the conversation starts flowing. So it does some things like that, where I'm like, this is really clever. I really like it. I think the problem I had with it was that it's very slice of life, and I'm not normally that big into slice of life. And if it is slice of life, I want it to be doing something kind of interesting. Where this to me felt like it's a relationship, something like this. It begins, it ends, and then there's something else after. Like it wasn't like. There's nothing particularly profound or anything like that. But then does there need to be? Yeah. Like, and this just comes down to, I guess, like if you're someone who likes a slice of life story, but doesn't need it to be doing anything much more than that, it's what it is.
Well, I watched, we went and saw Lady Bird last week. And can't really criticize it. I just didn't care.
Yeah, and that
it's
was
just like it to hit all the notes I expected of a coming of age story. It's like, yep.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. Like I kind of played through it, and I'm like, okay, that certainly was what I expected was
the bits you did were good.
Yeah, it was well put together. Yep.
Yeah.
So like it's quite cheap. I think it's like $2-3 or something like that. Yeah. So it's not like a $15 game. So when I say it's 40 minutes, it's like it's 40 minutes of well-made content that if you want to spend $2 or $3 to sit on the pooper and play through this little story, go for it. Like I didn't feel like I was.
So what they call the trams.
That's what they call the trams in Melbourne. Yeah. But I think you have to.
A homeless guy taking a shit on a pooper. Not really. Not really.
I think you kind of go in, don't expect it to at least like Monument Valley. It's like there was a bit of game going on. It wasn't that complicated. But there was like something what I was trying to do. This just feels like, no, I'm telling a little story. It's a little like it feels almost like I had a breakup and this is me telling my what I did or something like that. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
So Florence.
Yeah.
So you remember the names?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Very nice art. Very nice music.
Speaking of very nice art and very nice music and a narrative game, I have now completed the game that I was going to talk about last week or last episode, but didn't. The Last Day of June.
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't know too much about it apart from what you were talking about. But I had to look at some like the visuals of it. And it is a pretty game.
It is a gorgeous game. Yeah. It is a game that's quite...
How much did you cry, Paul?
At the end, pretty good. Pretty good. It had such a good fucking ending. Yeah. So fucking good. So Last Day of June is it's not based in the month of June. It is the day that you and your girlfriend have a car accident, or I don't know if she's wife or girlfriend. Either way, your partner. Yeah. Have a car accident and she dies and you become paralyzed and put in a wheelchair. And
that old love story.
Yeah. So it starts
that old feel good tale.
And it's all the characters in the game are like marionettes with these big heads and no eyes, no features on there. So they don't do any facial expressions and there's no dialogue in the game. There's just sort of simoleon type when they're talking. But there are it's like 5 humanoid characters and then some animal characters as well, but they're all really well animated. They don't need the facial expressions. Like you get everything through motion. It's fantastic. And the whole game has this watercolor aesthetic to it, where if you actually get close to an object and like look at like, they're all like sort of low poly and everything, but as soon as you take a few steps away, they get like a filter over them.
Oh, okay.
And so the only problem I had a problem with the visuals is sometimes when you're looking way in the distance, it's a real blur of like color altogether, but it makes everything soft. Like it's a look that I've wanted in games for a long time. It's a lovely, like it's beautiful. I really liked exploring the world. And so the concept is, so the accidents happened, and then you are sort of wallowing away sometime in the future, not having a particularly nice time with your life. And you go into your partner's studio because she'd like to paint. And suddenly, by interacting with the paintings, you start to be able to go back in time. Now, you don't go back in time yourself. You inhabit one of the other characters in your little... It's like a little village, but there's only 4 other people in there. So, like, I don't know what you'd call that, little hamlet or something. Some people would refer to it as. So at first, so basically you crash initially because a young child that lives next to you was in the middle of the road and you swerve to avoid them. So the first time you start the game, you start as that kid. It's like, hey, just don't go in the middle of the fucking road.
Oh, okay. I think I see. Is this okay? All right. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I kind of see where this is going.
And so obviously things are going to get more complex from that. You eventually have these 4 characters, and I'm not going into any details of any of the other stuff, but it'll be like, okay, you need to be able to do this, so this other character has to, in their run through of the day, have to go and do that. So the biggest flaw in the game is simply that every time you access a character to change how they played their day, you then have to watch the result of that day cutscene again, and that's probably only about 30 seconds. But if you're quickly wanting to, like, I got to do them to get back to them, it's like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. Just take it. I've already done this combination. I just need to go back to get someone else to do something else. But that said, they do quality of life things. So say with the boy, because I'll use him for all the examples because he's the first one. When you start his story, he's up in his treehouse. The wind blows. It knocks a soccer ball and a card out of his treehouse. Then you have to grab a rope, drop the rope down, and then you go back and you see where the kite's gone or where everything is, and then you go and get your ball. So when you start the second time, it starts in the treehouse and it just blows, and then you're out of the treehouse and it shows you where the other items were in very quick shots, and then you're just out again. And then next time you do it, it doesn't bother showing you where the items were again. It just blows to the wind and then you're out of the treehouse. So it shortcuts all that sort of stuff. So you're not wasting that much time when you're watching. It's just the end of the day stuff. We have to watch the thing again. That's it. Like the way it unfolds and like the obvious twist, which I think you would have probably popped into your head with that. Like it's not. It does. It sort of hits differently a little bit earlier, and like there is more to it. And as I said, the finale was like fucking great.
Okay, so how adventure gamey is it? Because I'm getting adventure game kind of ideas in my head.
I would imagine like it's very adventure gamey. It's like, hey, this character, the boy can kick his soccer ball at vases and knock them over, and sometimes they're in the way of people walking. So you just walk around, knock over all the vases, like stuff like that. The game's really fucking easy.
Okay, so
like, it's not going to tax anyone, I expect. Sometimes
but you are very good at adventure games, though.
Yeah, without being a weird horn tooter, I sometimes mischaracterize the difficulty of puzzles. I do not think anyone would have a major problem playing this game, however. It's relatively pretty clear what you can do. Like, it literally shows you the amount of options available. You just haven't found them all yet. And the game probably takes like 3 hours or something to play through. It's not a big thing. I picked it up for $5 on a sale, which I think is probably a very good price, like $5 to $10. I think it's really good for it. The whole thing is actually based on a music video for, God damn, I can't remember his name. He's like a prog rock musician. So there was a music video with these characters in it from one of his songs, and they took those characters, and it's the director that made the Muramasai Baby game, which I really liked on the Vita. It all comes together as a really nice package. The characters, without any speech, I felt quite close to all of them, just in their short chats. They're like really well drawn.
It sounds like something I should pick up for the weekend and just knock it out.
I think it's not, and like, I am a little bit of a sook when it comes to sad stories, and I did have a little bit of a tear at the end. I thought it was, but in like a good way. Yeah. Oh man, like I reckon if they cut this game one scene earlier, like it takes away a little bit of them extrapolating stuff, but oh god, it would have been fucking good. There's just this one moment if they just went like smash cut there to credits, I would have been like bawling my fucking eyes out. Oh, and not that it would have been sad, that it would have been like perfect nerdy, just like oh god, still sad, but bittersweet sad. Really really enjoyed the game because I think normally it's like $20, which is probably a bit much for most people for that cost. But yeah, really unique looking game. I love time mechanics, and actually just the way it's shot. Like the people that made it really fucking know how to like where to put the camera, how to tell a story properly, and that's it. They don't need dialogue because it's very nicely drawn. Like all the characters are well drawn and. Yeah, everything's well animated, and I just really, really had a great time. And even I was trying to explain the ending to my wife after. She asked me to not to because she might play it one day because apparently I must have made it sound interesting enough because she doesn't play games like that. But even when I was trying to explain it, I started tearing up. I'm like,
you got me interested.
That's good. We'll see if it cracks your stone cold heart.
Oh yeah, I was bawling at Wolfenstein 2.
I merely haven't got up to the side bits of Wolf 2
There was some pretty
yet.
emotionally intense stuff in that.
We'll see. We'll see how you go with Last Day of June. Which is
it'll probably break me. I cry pretty easy.
I'll see. Yeah, I don't mind being a crier. I like.
No, it's very cathartic. It gets out of your system.
Okay, so tick off the sad game. Okay, how's Warframe going?
The better Destiny. No, I actually did load up Destiny today just to kind of like, all right, let's check it. I haven't played it in a while, and I started playing a thing and like, I've done all this. I'll quit now. So I think this is the third time I've tried to play Warframe. I think I had about 4 hours on my account when I loaded it up, and I think I decided to give it more of a go this time because there's this like YouTuber that I like. He does like kind of. I think Prince Gaming, I think is what it is. But he basically does like essays on games and they're quite interesting. And he was talking about how much he liked Warframe. And like, oh, okay, like I respect this guy. I'll go back and give it another go. Because it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
And so far, now I've been playing more kind of free-to-play games or games with an entry price where there's no loot boxes and things like that. I'm really starting to realize how just like fucked Destiny is compared to like what it could be, like after Monster Hunter and now kind of Warframe. But I finally figured out what Warframe is. Yeah, it's a game about making bars bigger. At its core, that's what it is. So half-mast, raging half-mast. Okay. So what it does is it gives you there's a lot of Warframes you can unlock, and it does a really poor job at explaining what they all do. Oh yeah, that's right. There were so many options. It's like when you first join up, they just need to hide most of the menus. Yeah, and the game has serious learning problem. Like there's so much going on in that game. And it's been around so long, they've added so much stuff, and you can just access all of it. But I've figured out what the game is you have a weapon. The weapon, you play the game, it levels up quite fast. Or any kind of item. Warframes, weapons, and like pets. These things all get, the bars will fill up.
Pets? I don't remember pets.
Yeah, well, there's pets, and there's also little robots that follow you around.
I seem to remember the robots.
Yeah, I haven't got a pet yet. But the things you equip, the bar gets bigger until it maxes out in rank. The way the progression works is how many things you've kind of leveled up. So every now and then, you don't really have a level, but it's like, hey, you've leveled up enough things. Do you want to go do this test to get next rank or something like that? And so you kind of fairly quickly fill the bars up. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, now I've got to try something new because I need to level something else up. So it never feels super grindy because it doesn't take that much to kind of... To do another thing, do a thing. And so the way it'll kind of work is like, all right, well, you can drop some money if you want to buy an item, and it's not too much. Like buying an item, say a new weapon or something, you're probably going to pay like $1 or something like that. And that thing is going to say like take you a couple of hours of play to max it out, something like that. So you can think like, okay, I'll pay $2 and I'll get this thing. Like if you don't want to do that, it's like, oh, that's cool. You can buy the blueprint for money. You got a lot of it. And it's like, just look, go get these things and then you'll make it. And there's some kind of timer on how long it'll take. But it's not, it's like, okay, well, cool. I'll go get these components. I'll play the game a bit and I'll make the thing. So if you want to play it without paying any money, you can kind of get away with it without too much fuss. It's just, if you want to, you can drop some cash and go a bit faster. It reminds me a bit of probably PlanetSide 2, the way I played that, where it's like, yeah, you can grind away and get this weapon, or if you just want it now, like you want to try a new Warframe. It's like, just spend $5.
If you're pouring hours into it anyway, that's where I don't hate free to play play is a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, if it is something that every once in a while putting a bit of money into makes it
Yeah.
like I can skip this
Yeah.
little bit because I
think
doing it anyway.
The thing that I like is that unlike Destiny, and even unlike, I was going to say unlike Monster Hunter, but it's probably about on par with Monster Hunter, there is randomness in what you get, but it's more the components to make things.
Oh, yeah.
So I still kind of feel like if there's an item that I want, I can see the path to get it. And it's not like I have to go buy loot box after loot box and hope it just gives it to me.
Yeah, it's
more,
not just luck to get it.
No, it's like there's luck in that I have to get the materials, but it's more like if I can get those materials, then I know I can get what I want.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there's RNG, but the RNG is so much more controlled. And it's good because like I'll say I watch a video and I see like a Warframe, and it's like, oh, okay, this one looks like it's got a pretty interesting play style. It's like, okay, well, I can either pay money or I can go get the blueprint and I can get the bits and I can make it, and it might take like 12 hours to make it, but I'll just come back tomorrow and get it. Like none of them feel jerky. None of them feel exploitive. I always have a very clear idea of what I need to do to get a thing. And that means I just know what I'm in for. Like it's now become like, I feel like I can play it for like 10, 15 minutes. I can jump in, do a mission, and I'm done. Yeah. Well, it's like at lunchtime at work. It's like, oh, I got like 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll just jump in and play with a few people and I'm done. And my little bars go a bit higher. I'm like, sweet, my bars got higher. Like I feel like I make more measurable progress every time I play it. And like it's kind of starting to get me. Like it's sort of, I think I've put close to about 20 hours or so into it now, and it's mainly just been, oh yeah, I'll play a little bit here, I'll play half an hour here, I'll play 15 minutes here.
Told you it was better Destiny.
Yeah, but my main complaint is they can get a bit repetitive, like the actual missions themselves. Yeah, and also that it explains itself so poorly.
Have you had any access to like the open world area?
Yeah,
yet?
you get that really early.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, though I haven't. I've gone to it. It's like, this is huge. I'm going to go explore the rest of the game first. Probably like my main misconception from playing it now from when I first played it is I remember one of my main complaints was, man, these levels are boring. And they are. But that's because you're meant to be in it so, like, you're meant to move so fast.
Yes.
Like, the actual movement mechanics are run, slide, screw jump, slide. And you just do that. So, or if you need to get up, like you crouch, jump, and you get up really high, and then you glide, and like, you're a ninja.
Yeah.
So you move fast. And once I understand that, once I got that, suddenly the environments are big and repetitive, but you're moving through them so fast, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like most enemies you don't fight. Like you don't have to. It's like, I'm just trying to get to the waypoint. So it's like, it's perfectly fine just to run as fast as you want and just get to where you need to get to. And the movement's fun. The movement feels real good.
Warframe. It's
well reviewed on Steam.
I was trying to think, what was the really poorly reviewed game that Digital Extremes made? Was like Dark Sector.
No. It was like the TF2 style game. Hidden Agenda. No, something Agenda. I'm pretty sure that was them. Digital Extremes did that.
I don't know.
Or might be thinking of someone else.
Talking about. What is it like? I don't know. I thought Digital Extreme was Dark Sector.
Oh no, because Digital no, they're Epic. It's made by basically the UT people. I'm thinking of something else. No, I'm thinking.
I like when I type in Dark Sector, it comes up second option Dark Sector Warframe.
Oh, okay. Oh, actually, it might. Yeah, it was Digital Extremes is founded by the minds, like the key creators behind Unreal Tournament. Yeah.
Digital Extremes, Warframe, Darkness, Dark Sector.
Okay.
Well, they did Darkness 2.
They did Darkness 2, did they? Yeah.
Yeah, I need a better. Man.
But yeah, that game's really well supported, and the community's real nice.
Apparently, Sword Coast Legends.
Oh yeah, that didn't go well.
I can't see anything with a gender in the title. It sounds like you.
No, I was thinking a different company.
What are you thinking about?
I think it was actually the Paladins.
The Paladins, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. I have been playing Crossing Souls, but I would like to play some more of it before I really assess it. That is the sort of, well, not really Earthbound-ish.
Stranger Things kind of.
Yeah, just 80s Fest.
Yeah.
Let's call it 80s Fest, which I have mixed feelings on at the moment, but I want to play more. Like, I like the set. As long as you can absorb lots and lots of 80s, the setting's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's actually gameplay that's not quite selling me, but I want to play more. Do you want to talk about briefly a Final Fantasy before we wrap up?
Yeah, it was because I don't have too much to say about it, mainly because so Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, Portable Edition,
You
one
called
of them,
it PE, so it could
whatever.
be either one of
I have a
those.
feeling it's Pocket Edition.
Physical education is
Physical
what we normally
education.
say.
I wasn't quite sure what it was gonna like, how closely it would match Final Fantasy the big game. Close. It's a very interesting adaptation because I've played through the first, say, I think 5-6 hours of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And so far, it has been with a completely different art style, completely different mechanics. It has been distilling down the experience quite well.
Which really, really interests me because
Yes.
I so just fizzled out on 15.
Yeah. So I have friends and Cheryl, she's played through like Final Fantasy 15. I know she really liked the story, and I deliberately kind of didn't pay too much attention because like, yeah, I'll get to this one day. But it's a big game. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
So the idea of a condensed version I actually find really appealing. It's got pretty good touch controls. The combat feels pretty good. Like, it's just a good, like, solid adaptation of a really big game. That's really impressive. I kind of stopped playing it because I thought, this is pretty decent.
Wait for the Switch version?
The Switch. And then I found out that the Switch version is actually going to be a bit more gamey than this version. And so I kind of see the Switch version landing
somewhere between the two.
Yeah, and I'm expecting it to be like kind of like Secret of Mana, kind of like complexity. Like, I kind of expect it to be, it's more going on than what's in the pocket version, but not the extremes of the big version, and that's going to be just the sweet spot, just right for what I want.
It does sound good to me.
Because I really like the art style they've gone for. Like, it's
I was really happy
cute,
with it. Yeah.
like chibi art style. They reuse the voice really well. Like, most of the dialogue's just taken from the other game, and they just repurposed it. But there is still some new stuff that they've recorded for it. It's real impressive.
It is funny that like the super impressive Final Fantasy game, I'm now kind of like, give me the cutified version. Give me the cut down chibi version of it, please.
Well, what I want is the SNES version. That's kind of what I'm seeing now. And so I was actually going to play through this one on the phone, but then when I found out there's going to be kind of like slightly more advanced version of it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I could see myself getting into that.
Could be really cool. Okay, so that basically brings us to the end. Now, do stay tuned for our hour-long special on hands to wrap up Handuary.
It's been a good Handuary.
Yeah, it has been. I've had how was the festivities for you?
The festivities.
Handuary punch.
The saddest thing about Handuary is that it's in the shortest month of the year.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, at least every 4 years we get that one extra hand day.
Yeah. I love a good hand day.
It's true. Okay. So thank you for listening or watching 8.5bit. You can watch us you can find us on our website, 8.5bit.com, our Twitter and Facebook. Please like and share anything like that. Subscribe to us on iTunes. And if you do, please just review, because reviews help us share the love. Also subscribe to us on YouTube. I never say that.
Oh, yeah.
And no one watches us on YouTube.
Hit the little bell button.
But we record it on video.
Get instant updates.
You can see
like
my
and
dogs.
follow. If you like our videos, hit the like. If you don't like it, hit the unlike. We don't care.
Fuck you, James. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
I'm going to say it like every YouTuber. No. You go hit that subscribe button. Just talk about it in the chat. Don't talk about it in the comments.
I mean, feel free, but don't feel pressured.
No, feel pressured. Go talk about it in the comments.
No, do whatever you want.
No, don't. What you want in the comments.
Burn this computer down as you're watching. No. But do sign up to our Patreon. You can find it at bit.ly.thisisnotreal.com. That would be a long bit.ly.
That would be. Yeah.
That'd be completely against the bit.ly point. Yeah. I mean, we should just make a Patreon one day and just never tell anybody and just see if anyone just secretly finds it.
Find our Patreon.
I feel so terrible. Someone could give me money.
No, they can give us money.
Oh,
They're going to buy that thing.
That's true.
You can give some money to buy that thing.
That's true. If you want to give me money, just don't tell James. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Paul.
I've been James.
And we'll catch you all next fortnight.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.